Hello, welcome back to another episode of Kanode Knows, brought to you by Dig BMX. This week on the show, we got Garrett Reynolds. I tried to get Tony Ennis, but he wasn't down, and he pointed over to Garrett, and he's like, that guy will do it. I was like, all right, fine. So we talked to Garrett Reynolds for 3 hours. He's done a couple things in BMX, and we tried to go along with his story, but it just branches off, and it's a wild ride, so I hope you guys enjoy. If you like the show, if you like this episode, share it with your friends, like and subscribe, all that stuff. And leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you don't mind. That'd be cool. And let's see, go to rarlife.com. Use promo code Kanode to get yourself some green superfoods and be a healthy boy. I think we talked about health in this episode a good bit. And yeah, Garrett, thanks for coming on. Hope you all enjoy this episode, and I'll see you next week. Here's Garrett Reynolds. All right, we're on the record. Hi, Garrett Reynolds.
What up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing great, dude. How are you?
I'm chilling. Just getting done doing some stuff around my house, and was working on some Fiend soft goods for our future.
Hell yeah. Well, tell me about the house stuff first. What'd you do?
Just cleaning. I have 2 pit bulls, so no matter how much I clean, every day I have to clean. They're like, right now they're shedding all their hair, so I do a little bit of vacuuming and that kind of stuff, and then keeping up with my dishes. Just regular ass shit.
Regular ass shit. Shark, and then right?
Verona, Shark and Verona. And the reason you always kind of see Shark is because Shark loves being in like the limelight and the attention. Like when dudes come stay at my house, she literally will wake like Lewis Mills or Johnny Rakes up and like literally paw slap them and be like, yo, wake up, like I'm trying to get attention, I need to be played with, like you're in my house now. So that's why you probably always see Shark. And then Verona's kind of more, she's on her own. She's like my roommate.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure she like actually cleans after herself and shit.
Hell yeah. Now and then, what else? You said, oh, Fiend soft goods. What's going on there?
So we're just working on like what do you call it? Back to school soft goods and stuff. Me and Tony Ennis, we work together with that. So usually running pretty late. We're under the gun, so had a few hours when I woke up. Right? I was like, yeah, I got to kind of get this going. So we got like the first look sheet out, and then he'll probably do some changes, then we'll work from there.
You said it, Tony Ennis, he's doing like designs on it or what?
Yeah, we both help with everything. Like BMX companies are pretty small, so it's like literally both of us help out wherever we can.
So how big is Fiend, like people-wise? I know there's a Bob, I know there's you, and Tony
and the riders.
No shit, it's just you three and then the riders.
Yeah.
No kidding, that's dope.
Yeah, we're pretty much ran through like distro and stuff.
What distro?
We're through Blackout.
Nice.
Blackout.
Who else is under Blackout? I don't know.
Kink, Cinema. Not really sure at the top of the mode. I know they had Etnies in there for a long time, and I think one of the helmet companies, but I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, it seems like there's like 4 or 5 main hubs, and then every single company has run through those.
Yeah, because I mean, you want to put yourself in like a situation with people that have like real experience in the industry.
Yeah, for real. And then all the dealings with like buying the shit in Taiwan, and then right? Is Fiend in the US or like made in the US type thing?
Most BMX companies ran out of Taiwan. We ran out of Taiwan just as well. And there's like once you go over there, there's a bunch of different factories you can use. All the BMX ones use like the highest end factories.
Yeah. It's wild. Like I remember just thinking as a kid, like it was just like, wow, there's this big BMX industry, and then the more you learn, you're like, oh shit, it's tiny, and then everybody's kind of using the same factories and stuff. Like,
it's super tiny, super connected, and then like, I don't know, even BMX in the cycle world, we're on the really small end of it. Like, for instance, during COVID, like, I think our factory works with Giant, and it was like really hard for us to get stuff because Giant placed like an order that's insane,
stupid big.
Like money rules everything, so it's like, all right, you guys sit back, we're gonna do this order, then we'll get to you when we get to you.
That's cute. Your little BMX company. We got Giant.
And like we love using colors that are really hard, like really like intense paint mixes that are like they want to mix it just to the amount of frames you're gonna make, where like a company like Giant will like order 2,000 frames in like the most basic blue, They're
Yeah.
like, why are you guys so hard to deal with? And we're like so specific about decals and placements and all that stuff too. But I don't know. It's what makes BMX bikes look cool
For
to me.
real.
We put in way more effort, I feel like.
What does it look like for you? Like, what is your technical title, and what does it look like for you as
I mean,
Fiend?
I don't even have a title. I'm just like the overall owner, and like literally will help anywhere as I need to. So it's
Nice.
like I'll help out, book people's flights if they need help with that. When it comes to trips, I pretty much run them, budgeting, driving the van, figuring all that stuff out.
Captain.
Yeah, I'm just kind of jack of all trades, you know.
Yeah, that's dope.
But I mean, our dudes are super self-sufficient. Like we don't really need like a team manager. You know what I mean? If you make it on Fiend, it's pretty much that's how you know you're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
So like
yeah.
it'd be a really hard position for someone to tell one of us what to do. I'd be like, get out of here. You going?
Cut from the
Yeah,
team.
like,
Yeah.
dude, how's this guy telling me what to do?
For real. Who's the last person that got on Fiend?
Like officially as a pro, it'd been Johnny and Lewis.
Well, who came first, Johnny or Lewis? Johnny, and then Lou.
It was Lou first, and then Johnny.
Nice.
But it was pretty much the same timing.
And they got the bump up, but they were like repping M forever, right?
Yeah. We were trying to get the company to a point where we could turn them pro. We obviously knew that they were both like pro level riders, and for a company like us, it's hard to sponsor those kind of dudes because they're gonna make a case within like a week of being on the company to be like, all right, turn them pro. But financially, it doesn't usually work that way. But we turned them pro at the same time. We kind of give everyone's frame like a life cycle. So we gave Lewis's frame out first and Johnny's frame second, so they don't compete with each other.
Nice.
How
did Johnny come up? Because I remember when I worked for Sabrosa, I was in Johnny's ear, like, come right for Sabrosa.
Yeah. So the whole thing with him getting on was kind of funny actually, because like he was on like Sabrosa Flow, I believe, or he'd won a bike or something. And then he entered like a Fiend contest for maybe a JJ giveaway, I want to say. And like he clearly won it, but we didn't give it to him because it was like, I'm pretty sure this guy's like
on Sabrosa.
Semi hooked up by Sabrosa, and it's like just like a respect thing, you know what I mean? You don't want to go around like trying to steal each other's riders and shit. It's whack. So we gave it to another kid, and then Sauce wound up reaching out to me eventually and was like, yo, like he really wants to ride for Fiend. Like, what do you guys think? Blah, blah, blah. And we were just like, yeah, it's like whatever. Like he was talking with JJ at the time. JJ is one of my best friends in the world. And like JJ was like, yo, he's like seriously, he's like seems like a really solid kid. Like, don't sleep on it. And
for real.
The rest
not
is
only
history.
on the bike, like he's off the bike, just a solid guy, which is so cool to see him like grow into his jujitsu and this whatever this shit is. I love it so much, dude. Dude, he's ready to go.
He's really came out of his shell over the past few years. It's funny because like the first time he came and stayed with me, I want to say he stayed for like 2 or 3 weeks, and like I'm a little bit shy. He's like at the time was like super shy, and I could just remember like being in my car and like trying to get conversations going was like pulling teeth. It was so hard to get him to talk about anything. He's just sitting there playing with his bike and shit, and like I don't know,
his little like toy bike on the dashboard or something.
Yeah, just literally like dude, like I don't know, take me riding, leave me alone. Like, I'm gonna produce and kill it, but like I don't know what I want to say right now. And it was so funny. Like there was days we'd be out and I'd be like, dude, he needs a rest day. Like someone like me who's been doing it for so long, I could just see. I'm like, he's like slower, things are harder for him, and I'm like, just at my house, like, yo, what do you want to do tomorrow? Like, I think we could go to the beach or do this or do that. And he's like, I think I want to film. Like, dude, he's just about it.
Just a young little robot, dude. I mean, imagine like being in his shoes and going like you've watched Garrett Reynolds your whole life, and then all of a sudden you're in his house riding for his company. Like, whew.
Yeah,
I might be nervous and quiet too.
Yeah, no, totally. It was just funny, like, but nowadays, like when he's at my house, he like kicks the door and does, you know what I mean?
What's up,
like
bitches? I'm
different human being. Like, what's up? You know, spar? Yeah, I'm trying to play, bro. I ain't got time to just sit here. Like,
I'm so happy to hear that. That's so dope. Let's see. So, I mean, I am still curious about Fiend. Like, what's the aside from like riding for it, doing the stuff, what's the last? I guess what's the last trip you guys went on? Was it Arizona?
Um, yeah, well, that was like, yeah, me and Johnny were like working on a Fiend project along with Matt, but Matt wound up getting hurt. So that was pretty much the last one, and we're planning new ones right now.
Nice. Is
Yeah, we're
there?
working on.
Oh yes,
Good.
finish that sentence. We're working on what?
Uh, we're working on like a little video.
A little video.
Yeah,
I've heard some whispers about this little video. Can you tell me
yeah.
anything about it?
Yeah, I think the full parts will be Matt, Johnny, and myself, and then obviously we'll have like a mix section or something, just depending on who will get footage. Like obviously, there's a lot of other dudes that have other obligations, so it's really hard to get everyone to get parts together. So it's kind of like a 3-person thing.
Yeah, sick. I can't wait. How long has this been in the works? How many video projects are you filming for at the same time? Because it seems like you constantly have some shit, secretly stacked up.
Yeah, well, so like I consider myself one of the pros that's lucky to actually make a living off riding. So I put a decent amount of my time on the weekends to going out and filming. And I don't go out every weekend or whatever, but I just feel like if I'm not really filming or working on something, like I'm taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So, having the freedom to go out and having a filmer that works for the company, it's just like if I don't film ever, I just feel like I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just wasting my fucking life.
Well, that's a good attitude. I was thinking about being in your shoes and everything that you've accomplished and shit, and what keeps you going. Is it just the fact that it's your job? Obviously, you love the shit. Like, what is there a conscious thing that you think about?
Yeah, definitely not my job. Like, it's cool. It is my job, and like the job aspect of it is amazing, but also can take it out of you. Like, I clearly think that if I was kicked off every single one of my sponsors today, tomorrow I'm gonna think about riding the same way. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't even know what drives me anymore. I'm just like, I'm kind of just want to do this shit. Like,
that's what's up. Yeah.
I think it's like the unknown. Like, I don't know, like the questioning if you can do specific things you've thought of.
Yeah. Did you have any questions? X Games what were your thoughts going into that Rincon shit?
Dude, I thought it was sick. Like, I know some people were stressing it, but I was like, if the 17-year-old me, this is like my dream contest. I'm like, this is so sick. Like,
for real,
going into a iconic spot and like just having a session with like really good riders. Like, I don't know, you've been on plenty of sessions and you're a filmer, you've been around this. It's like people feed off each other. Energy and riding are a real thing.
Yep.
So like if you can create that energy, it kind of helps guide you to do specific things.
Yeah. Dude, what Colin's Ficky Hop, the energy went from like kind of here to like, oh shit, let's go.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, it's on. that was such a sick thing for him to do it and then like win and all this stuff, because he's been talking about that since we were filming for Fiending.
Wow. Yeah.
Which was 2014. So like literally 9 years in the making, like, us drinking beers, talking about it. Like Tony's pretty like, he's pretty in the know of the tricks we want to do that are on like the top of our list.
Mm-hmm.
Like whisper in someone's ear, be like, yo, dude, like, what about the fakie hop, dude? That'd be a good way to close it out. I was like, it was really sick to see him do it, but it was even sicker to see him do it like perfect first try.
Yeah. Like he didn't 180 or anything before it. Like,
yeah, no, that's like the craziest relief for him.
Yeah, for real. And you can see it in his face.
Anytime that thing comes up in his Instagram feed and like a video part, like it probably pops into his brain. Like, should I do that fakie hop? Should I do that fakie hop? Like, it's just the unknown.
Dude, and the spot is so much crazier in person than in videos. Like in videos, it looks like, substantial, but in there in person, there's the 2 blocks at the bottom, the rail's taller than you think, and the run up kind of sucks. And the fact that he did that with ease was so sick, dude. And the celebration was so dope.
Yeah, he's all street spots are like that though. I don't think I've been to like many street spots where I was like, oh, this looks like this is gonna be easy. It's like, all right, I gotta be kind of on top of my stuff and I gotta like work my way up to it.
Yep, for real. What kind of spot intimidates you, if any?
All kinds of spots intimidate me. More or less tricks, but I don't like steep rails.
Steep rails,
like the Rincon rail people were riding. I was like, dude, I don't even want to hit that thing. It's like high, short, and steep, like 3 things I don't even really like.
Yeah. Huh.
You know what I mean? Like, and then like those kind of rails too, they're hard for me to even want to break the ice with them because like for myself, the limitations of tricks I could do on it are like so whatever that it's like, who cares?
Yeah. If you could do any rail trick that you can't do right now, what would you take from who? You steal Jordan Godwin's
I don't
ice
know.
hards?
It'd be nice to get some Jordan Godwin like Kirk Hards, like
Yeah.
or ice hard. Like, dude, he ice hard that rail and Kirk Harded, and I'm like, that is. I don't think I could peg hard that rail.
It's unbelievable, dude. It's so
Yeah,
nuts, dude.
so good
That
at
is
riding.
insane. I
Insane.
don't, and he'll say like, I'm trash. Meanwhile, he does the ice hard down that steep ass rail.
Well, I mean, those are like the attitude of BMXers that are like the tightest ones, though. They're like
Yeah, for real.
slightly insecure about their riding, which drives them to be better than they would be if they were super cocky.
Yeah, there's not a single one that was at the X Games that's like, yo, I'm the shit. Like.
Number one, bitch. Like, yeah, no one has that vibe, and like I'm sure you could see, like I don't know, like everyone's pretty supportive of each other. Like
Big time.
no one really cares. Everyone's just kind of psyched to be invited, and like I don't know, the whole event's dope. I think we got like 2 racks just to ride that. So it was like,
Yeah.
dude, I got to ride a 6 spot with like people I all respect and would love to have a session with at a gnarly street spot, and you get paid to do it. That's like the sickest thing ever.
Literally dream come true. Like,
Yeah, like dude, I wish I could do this every day.
Yeah, Matt ate shit, but I was like, dude, you just got paid $2,000 to eat shit down a 4 block. You're chilling, you know?
I felt bad for him.
Yeah, me too. Just because it happened like so fast, two attempts in, it's like, damn.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it puts it into perspective real quick that like I feel like a lot of 4 blocks you can kind of take a little hip check or something, and you probably just kind of walk it off after a couple minutes. Like that thing's like
huge. Yeah,
pretty big 4 block. It's probably like 13 stair size, 14 stair size. Like it's pretty savage.
That's no joke. You mentioned Tony earlier, and I've been curious. I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, how did you meet Tony? Like, how did you guys first link up? The legendary Tony Ennis.
I have like a really funny story about how I met Tony. At the time I rode like Dew Tour for park contest, and I was working with Vice and Ally Sports to do a behind the scenes thing, and they were like I didn't have a filmer that was like up to par. Like I did all bro cam stuff with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like talking to me, and they're like, all right, so like these are the 3 filmers you could choose from. And like Tony had just dropped N Search. So I was like, oh dude, I want him to come. Like he knows what's up. Like if he films me, he'll know how to do it. And then like I'm sure like he hangs out with Harrington, which I was already friends with. So I'm like, I'm sure he's really cool. So he wound up coming out for that and staying at my house, I think like 2 or 3 nights or something. And then kind of like the rest is history, how we became friends. But how we really, really became friends was when we were starting Fiend, we all decided to move to San Diego.
Yeah.
At the time, Tony Ennis was living with Ty and his mom. Asked pretty much Ty's filmer. So he was like, well, if I'm coming, Tony's coming. And I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. It'd be perfect. Yeah. And like we kicked it before we did a staff trip, and we went to Greenville and Raleigh and stuff. We had a really good time with him. So like I know him a little bit, but it was really more when we moved into with each other. We really started to like get to know each other.
How long ago was that shit at this point? Like how long did you guys
it would be we're going on our 12th year.
Damn. It feels like kind of yesterday because I remember that,
Yeah. Like time, as you get older, time moves really fast.
Yeah. It really
realize that.
I heard somebody talk about that, and like when you're younger, the percentage of your life that 1 year is so big. Like say you're 10 years old, 1 year is like 10% of your life, but now as you get older and 33, 34, like it becomes a smaller percentage.
Yeah. So 7%, 6%.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes quicker and quicker.
You're like, shit, I'm getting old. Where's my pension?
But yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
That's dope. I like Tony. I remember I have like one memory of him in Vegas at Nora Cup. I wound up drunkenly walking through a casino with him and like putting 20 on black or something and just smoking cigs and gambling. And he's the shit. He's so like, he has a very calming demeanor. He's the reason you're on this podcast. Cause I was like, hey, Tony, will you do the podcast? And he's like, nah, but he will.
Yeah. When we're in Arizona, I was literally pushing him every night. And he like, I don't know. We're both pretty reserved dudes, but he's so hard to get to talk on this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but he's the man, and he has the sickest personality.
For real.
And like, if he just opened up, everyone would love him, like even more than they already do, because
Yeah.
he's literally the coolest.
He's got that secret legendary vibe to
Yeah,
him.
I think we all like to stay a little bit like elusive. Just
Yours
like,
is gone now. Now that you've come on this, it's over.
I
You're
know
no longer a
I
legend.
might have to delete this.
Exposed. Let's see. So let's talk about the origins of Fiend, like how it came up and what you were doing before. At some point I do want to kind of like just get you to tell me your whole ass story, but that's a
Okay,
lot.
yeah. I mean, I'm here to try to answer whatever.
Yeah.
So I think like the big reason for us really me trying to do Fiend was so Ty and JJ had their runnings with Premium, and I want to say Ty left for Federal,
Mm-hmm.
and then JJ left for Mongoose at some point, and then I was kind of like the last one on, and they weren't like riding for Premium was like riding for like a contest company. They were like never really wanted to do trips, never wanted to do anything. Like everything was based on like, your placement in contests. And like I could kind of see that just getting a little bit further in the company and seeing the behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I love this stuff, but I don't like really like having all my eggs in one basket. And then I had like a couple situations where I was breaking product at like the worst spots. The one I can give you is I did a hop 3 on flat ground and my bars broke in the middle of the bend, which I broke on the right side, spinning to my left, and my bike shot up and almost cut my throat.
Oh shit.
And I was like, yo, like, it's not even on the weld. Like, what's up with this? Like, it's crazy. And I remember the answer kind of just being at the time, and I know they're under like better ownership or whatever. There was like, yeah, we'll just send you more bars. And I was like, I don't even think you guys are seeing. Did you read my message? Like, I was like, dude, it almost cut my throat. Like, do we need better tubing? Are we buying the highest quality tubing? Like, what do we need to do to figure this out? Because I'm down to die, but not like
not like this.
not on some like product shit. So, so yeah, I was kind of talking about it at a do tour, and originally one of the owners of Fiend was supposed to be Josh Harrington.
No shit. Sick.
Yeah, so it was gonna be me, Harrington, and then Bob was gonna help us run it because he already ran Staff BMX, which was like a kind of like the East Coast Empire.
Yeah.
So it was like we need someone to help us because we need to focus on riding and like to market the brand, but we need we need the right person to make sure everything's getting handled right. But yeah, he wound up kind of changing his mind last minute, and I was still just like fuck it, like I don't know. You can't answer to other people. If you answer to yourself, then everything's on you. So
yeah,
seemed like the best decision for me. But also too is like I needed to figure out a way, like with doing all these deadline trips and stuff, I was literally funding it with like the money I made from do tours and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like needed to create an avenue to get the circle of people together that wasn't coming from like my riding.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's how you know you're in it.
Yeah.
You're spending your do tour money on making trips happen, which is so fucking sick. But yeah, it's good that you started a company.
Money well spent.
How much initial investment did it take to start Fiend?
I think I started Fiend with like 40 grand.
Nice.
So it's like,
what does that buy?
Pretty small. I mean, depending, I'm trying to think, but say like probably like 200 frames and like a bunch of bars, something like that. Like bikes probably like, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah. It bought us a bunch of stuff, but it was like part of it was salary, part of it was, it was just the initial investment to get everything going, to get it to the next level.
Dope. And obviously it's still around 12 years later. Was it 12 years ago that you started?
Yeah.
Damn,
yeah.
Dude, that's
13 years since the idea, 12 since we actually launched the company.
So sick. All right, let's rewind a little bit further. I mean, were you a racer? Did you race?
No, I never raced.
What was your first taste of BMX? I'm sure you've done this on something else, but what was your like intro to BMX?
So, like most kids, I kind of just had a bike. I had this beater like Huffy I got from Walmart, and like my dad did custom cabinets. So we had a shop at our house, and there's all this wood always floating around. So like obviously kids make ramps.
Yep.
That was kind of like my introduction to like jumping my bike. And
Just
then
riding off of cabinets.
riding off of
Let's
cabinets
go.
that were like misprints and stuff. Like, you know, I had like a pile of shit that wasn't gonna get used, and I would use that to make little jumps and stuff. And I'd always wind up breaking the wood or whatever. But I saw
How
the
old were
X.
you?
I was between, I want to say 10 or 11.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
And I seen the X Games, and on the X Games they had a dirt contest. And then I remember they had like this segment where they're like, dudes were teaching you how to build a dirt jump. And I was like, half of my yard's dirt. So like immediately I just started building jumps, and yeah, blew through a bunch of bikes, and like over time got better bikes and shit. I remember like the bike I actually learned and got good on was like a GT Vertigo. It was like it's probably 2001 or 2002, but this bike was from the 80s with mags and stuff. I was just
Oh
like
yeah.
the jankiest bike trying to learn how to jump this thing. And like
Yes.
it was just so ridiculous.
You probably weigh 100 pounds. The bike is like 75 pounds.
Yeah, like the craziest geometry, nothing sealed on it, like unsealed mags and stuff, like just always trying to fix this thing to get one more jump.
What was the first trick you learned?
I'm gonna say it had to be like a 1 footer or something like that. Like, you
Yes,
know,
dude.
the
Yeah.
classic dirt jumping tricks in the day,
Yep.
and just like one handers. And
Dude, I remember it like the kid in my neighborhood that could do all that shit. I was sweating so hard. Just a little baby jump, but he could take both of his feet off. And I was like, that's so
yeah, you're
fucking
like,
crazy, you know? Yeah.
yeah. And
So sick.
everyone was so loose at this time. Like everyone was a hucker because they saw it on TV and would just try to replicate it, but like never actually learned how to ride the bike.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like 2001, 2002, BMX was so big that like every kid in my neighborhood wanted to come ride my jumps.
It was huge, huh? Like
It was really big around this time that it was like kind of like the thing to do.
it was Nyquist and Mira and their like back trail and
Back trails, and then TJ Lavin had like the what was it, the Fat Boy, and like all these
yeah.
bikes. And like BMX was really small, so those dudes were selling massively.
Yeah.
Like there's only just a few companies.
It's so crazy to think about Nyquist and he's still kicking it, still doing it,
Yeah,
dude. It's so sick.
yeah.
So then what's like your first taste of like a video or like what happens after, you know, you learn on the GT in your backyard? How do you take
So
that to the next place?
so eventually my parents and stuff, they see that I'm getting pretty into BMX, and I'm trying to figure out like a proper bike to get. So I would say probably 2002 for Christmas, I got a DK 6 pack. And that was kind of
I remember those, dude.
how I started really getting into riding, because the bike could take all the abuse and stuff. And I originally started going to skate parks, like pretty much grew up riding trails. My brothers went to a skate park. They were skaters, and they had Tom's River Skate Park used to be two separate parks. And there was a park for skaters and a park for BMX. But we didn't know this at the time, so I came to the skate park with my brothers and skateboards. And then I seen the BMX section, and I was like, I didn't even know you could like go to the skate park with a bike. And like that was kind of the entry to me going to skate parks. And long story short, that skate park, the BMX side, was owned by the actual other owner, Fiend Bob.
Oh, no kidding.
It all
Damn.
ties back together. It's super
Whoa.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's wild.
kind of trippy. But I remember going in there and being like, you know, in the skateboard side, like people were trying to do tricks, and like no one could land anything. And then like in the BMX section, they had the typical like vert wall box jump.
Yeah.
And I could just remember seeing people just ripping over the box jump, and I was like, dude, I want to do that. Like,
Yeah, that looks funner.
that looks way sicker. Like,
Hell yeah. And then yeah, what did you just learn from other dudes at the skate park, or did somebody show you a video? Because I still remember like being 16 and getting into it, and then my buddy showed me voices, and I was like, oh shit, this is what I want to
yeah.
do. Like, what was your voices?
Um, Trying to think. Like, I was like, I think the first BMX video I saw was the Miracle Boy and Nyquist video.
Nice.
And I
Yeah.
think I seen that around the same time, because at the time there was like no brawl shops. I didn't know about dance comp. I didn't know about any of this stuff. It was such a new thing to me that like I got this at a Bob Kislin's.
What's a Bob Kislin's?
It's
Is
like
that an
a
East Coast
big
thing?
five, it's just like a sporting
Oh,
store.
nice.
And like in a sporting store, there's like a BMX video. And I was like, Mom, can I get this video? Like, it's like I've never, like I only see this at the skate park. And if the X Games are on TV, and like good luck finding it.
Yeah, for real. Man, that was pre-internet. No, that's not pre-internet, but
Yeah. But it's when the
feels like it.
internet was new, and
Yeah.
shortly after you could like go to LimeWire and stuff and like download videos and give your computer aids. But
Yeah, this is when like
this
videos were
time I
still
don't think that was
embedded.
happening. Yeah. But so like shortly after that, I would say I got some other videos, and like my original years kind of riding, I was super behind because like I think I put a bunch of BMX videos on my Christmas list, and I got like all the sale rack videos. So I got like best of props 1997 and stuff, like 2002. So like I was way behind in this beginning phase, but I kind of could see like what was going on.
Yeah. This is so progressive, and it's 1997. It's
Yeah,
2000.
and like if you look at the gap from like 97 to 2002 when I got these videos, like shit had changed so much.
I believe it. Huh.
Like that was a very time of like bikes getting better, dudes getting better, people pulling up to Woodward. Like it was so new that contests were getting bigger, which was making people push it harder.
Yeah. Well, at what
But
point did you, speaking of contests, at what point did you enter a contest? What came first, a video or a contest for you?
video for sure. Yeah, like so like by the time I entered a contest, I think the first like real BMX contest I entered was like a remember Roots Jam?
Yeah.
They did one at Scotty's skate park called the Am Jam,
Nice.
which they went around to skate parks, and you know Tom's River Skate Park wound up going under eventually, and it was like that's how I started going to Lakewood because it's a little bit further from us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I became there. But like Tom's River Skate Park was super, super sick to go to as a kid. Like now looking back on it, like they had like punk rock shows on Fridays. And they used to box each other in the vert ramp and stuff. It was just like
Hell yeah.
the ultimate like big kids hangout, like
Yeah.
so loose and just like whatever goes compared to like Scotty's Park was the complete opposite. It was very like safe place to leave your kid. Like I think anytime I went to Tom's River Skate Park, my parents would like want to be there. But then
Yeah.
when I started going to Scotty Skate Park, it was like, this place is super safe and ran super professional. Like we can leave this kid here and he'll be fine.
It's nice and wholesome. There's no
Yeah.
bad influences here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No cigarettes being smoked there.
No. Yeah. To put in context, one of the first times I went to the skate park, someone did a sprocket to faking on my dad's hood of his car.
At Tom's River?
Like, at Tom's River Skate Park.
Nice.
It was like, dude, it was so out of control. And I
That's
remember
good.
like it was like a beater truck. So my dad was like not even really pissed about it, but he was like, yo, who did this shit? This
The
is
audacity, dude.
like this is ridiculous. What's wrong with you guys? Like
Oh shit. What's a video you made? Is it out there? One of
my first
the OG Garrett Reynolds video?
No, my first video, I'm trying to think. The first video I think I ever really made would be I think it was something for Nike. I think I did something because I got on Nike really, really young.
How?
So I was hooked up by Etnies for maybe like a year or two because I got into a props.
Okay, cool.
And I got like hooked up pretty quick right after that. But I started getting like a little bit further into the contest scene, made it into the pro circuit for like Dew Tour. And then I got approached by this dude named JMO who came from the mountain bike world about like getting stuff from Nike and them wanting to start a program. And I remember like at the time I really didn't want to leave Etnies because like for me like Etnies was the sickest at that time, like Taz, Joe,
Oh yeah,
Mike Escamilla, like you name it, they had it. Best of the best, Ruben. I was like, dude, I don't know, like Nike, that's like super corporate, and like I don't know if they're gonna like really want to do it. And then I tried a pair of their shoes, and they were recycled rubber, which is like a really sick cause, but they're like the weakest, slipperiest shoes ever. And I was like, dude, I don't know. But my dad was like, really like, dude, this is such a good opportunity. And my dad used to talk to John Pova.
Mhm.
John Pova was like, this opportunity doesn't happen. Like your kid's an idiot if he doesn't take it.
Nice.
Plus, And he's just looking pretty full at this time. So there's like no way you'll rank up over here. You know, like you're a kid.
That's good advice from John Polo, dude. That's
no,
great.
it's great advice. Yeah.
I just got flashes of your writing on the wall part. Just came back. I was like, oh yeah, there's that whole epic part, which was incredible, dude. So I guess let's talk about that for a second. How long between you getting on and then writing on the wall happening? A couple of years? How long were you on Nike in general?
I want to say Nike phased out in 2017 or 18. Can't really remember, but I was 2005 to like 13, 12 to 13 years. Yeah. Sheesh. Really good amount of time. Rode it into the ground, dude. And there was a couple of times within those waves, like it almost kind of went under.
Yeah. But it's crazy to think about like Nike going under, but it's just like their BMX or 6.0.
Well, it's different when you look at corporate companies. Like, for instance, like Fiend can lose money multiple years, and we're like figuring out alternatives to like fix it and do it. Where like big corporate companies, they have stocks and stuff. They're like, dude, if it's losing money, we gotta trim it quick.
Yeah,
like,
cut it.
They're trying to be profitable to get more money to do more stuff. Like,
yep.
You know, but I mean, those dudes treated us great. I have nothing but nice things to say about the people at Nike. Like, they really did let like all of us travel around the world. They got a lot of people into BMX, which is awesome. And yeah, they took care of us for many years.
Yeah. I mean, the power of the brand Nike and then spreading the BMX gospel, like,
yeah,
pretty good.
I mean, even like, I think too, though, there's this crazy comprehension that like people in Nike were getting like paid crazy. Like,
yeah,
dudes got taken care of, but it was like, we weren't getting like Nike contracts.
Yeah. You were making as much money as LeBron James? That's awesome,
yeah.
dude.
My brother's really crazy, and he was like, he had a really good idea off the jump. So like when I got signed by Nike, they paid me $250 a month. And I was like, he was like, that is crazy. You're riding for Nike. $250 a month. Like, to like a BMXer, it's like an upcoming kid. Like, it's like, I'm killing it.
Yeah, that's huge.
He's like,
yeah.
So at some point, my mom helped negotiate the next contract, which doubled my income, which was like next to impossible to do.
Hell yeah.
And I remember him being like, take it in stock. You want stock opportunities pop up. But it was like so funny. It was like, if that would have worked, that would have been.
It didn't work? Oh, shit. I was going to say, you got Nike stock? Let's go, dude.
They're like, dude, this is BMX. Get the fuck out of here.
They're like, no, just take your couple $100. Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We bought you a flight, chill.
We bought you one flight. Yep. That's the perks, man. BMX, like, you make it and you get free travel and free bike parts and you figure out the rest. Like, that's the kind of for the majority of, I think, pro riders at this point. There's
and
not that many that are really making a true good living off of it, in my opinion.
It's got very hard over the years, you know? And I don't know, it's just, it's a tough world. I think the BMX industry really needs to work together to try to figure out the next steps of maybe potential growth and what we need to do to help it out and help the riders out and that kind of stuff. But I mean, really, in the end of the day, like you said, the thing that you really do value the most as a rider is being able to travel.
Yep.
Being able to be friends with so many people, being able to go to cities and just like, I can pop into Barcelona and link with like 30 different people. I could go to France and link with like 10 different people and they'll show me around like the best, everything of every city. It's like, you kind of get the local experience anywhere you go, just being a BMXer.
So dope. It's the memories that I got to get over the years of BMX is like priceless, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure.
When I talk to people who are like in the real estate industry or whatever, like normal, whatever, and they're like, you were making how much? And I was like, don't worry about that. I got to go to Barcelona and Australia. Dude, my first ever trip was, I got sponsored by GT when I was 18 and they took me to Sydney and Brisbane to ride with like Dave Dillaward and like this whole GT project. That was my first BMX trip. That was like a sponsored trip. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Australia.
All the way to Australia. Like, it's so hard to get to all. I've tried to get to Australia so many times. I've made it twice within my riding career. That's crazy. That's a really sick place to get to go for your first riding.
Unbelievable. And I had like no frame of reference. Cosman was filming the trip and I didn't even know how to act with a filmer. We would ride past a spot that I wanted to ride and I would just like keep my mouth shut. Just like, that'd be cool. I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me to do the shit. But
you're just cool experience.
Yeah. What's your favorite place you've been? I want to get back to like the timeline of your
Yeah, sure.
story, but what's your favorite place you've been?
Mm, I don't know. I really like obviously Barcelona for
Yeah.
riding. It's right on the coast. Beaches are beautiful. The lifestyle is really relaxed and chill. The spots are super easy. And then I really like Paris. Paris is really
Paris.
sick too. And then I don't know, I love the East Coast just because I'm from there. Like every time I go back to the East Coast, I'm like, damn, I kind of just enjoy the architecture, enjoy the knit and grind of it. Like it's
Yeah, because
just
it's older, you
it's
know?
just yeah, it's just old and historic and like ran down in spots, especially the areas you ride in some. There's like something really beautiful about that, I feel like.
Yeah. Speaking of East Coast and like I guess so you're finally getting the pro circuit of Dew Tour, you get on Nike and stuff, but when does your passion for street riding come into play?
So I'll rewind kind of a bit. Like when I was had like all the kids coming through and riding my trails and stuff, say 2003 and 4, kids were starting to fizzle out. And my brothers were skaters, so I'd already go down. There's a community center down the street from my house, and we'd just go ride this like little roll-on flat ledge, and like we'd set up kickers to like over benches and stuff. And like there's like a little grass hill I made, like I carved a little lip out of and stuff. So like there's like the entry level of street riding. But that year, I was riding and I met this kid Corey, who became my best friend. But he was like core street guy, and he kind of like showed me the ropes of all the street riding stuff. So like I was 2 years younger than him, so like I could kind of cruise around my area, but I couldn't cruise around as far. And then I started hanging out with him. He lived on the south end of Tom's River, where the south end's where our downtown is and stuff. And there's like actual spots. So like I eventually made good enough friends with him that I started going over his house and stuff. And then I started riding like real spots. And it was like he just put me on right away. He's like, yo, you ever ice pick a rail? Like, nah. I was like, all right, we're gonna go to this little 5-stair rail. You're gonna ice pick that, and then we're gonna go to Courthouse Hubba. That's 8-stair hubba. And if you could ice pick the rail, you can get onto the hubba. And it was just like,
Damn,
oh,
little
you know what
street
I mean?
training sessions, dude. That's dope.
Yeah. It wasn't even like training though,
I
because
know. Yeah,
it was just like
being hyped,
it was so new that it was like when you're a kid, you just want to do like the 3 things you can do every day at your street spots.
big time.
If I can
Yeah,
hit the hubba, I'm gonna hit the hubba.
yeah.
Like you're not just gonna do 180s with the bottom all day, you know? Like,
No,
but also too, he kind of put me onto like criminal mischief, which was pretty new at the time. He put me onto the demolition video and stuff. And I'd seen street riding and stuff before, but I've never seen it to that level.
yeah,
But growing up with my brothers and 2 of my friends in school were skaters, so I was like pretty well versed with like street skating. And I was like, yo, people are doing this on a bike. Like you know what I mean? This is sick. So it kind of opened up my whole world from like my trails, my community center, my couple spots on my end of Tom's River to like, everywhere has spots, which is kind of what made me fall in love with street riding. Was like half of it's the riding and half of it's the journey and just like wandering around and seeing new stuff.
yeah. That's dope. Because from what I was talking to Kevin Corrali, and he was saying like you introduced him to street way back in your Dew Tour contest days when you guys are both like 15, 16 or whatever. And he said your passion for it was, unreal. And just like, that's what you really wanted to do. So
For sure.
that's from the jump, you were like, I think I love street riding the most.
No, I mean, I was always kind of like down to ride whatever. But it
Nice.
was like, it was partial that, and then partial that my best friend, who was like the only like other like super diehard rider in Tom's River, was like, bro, I tried taking him to trails and he tried to jump my trails like he was jumping a rail hop. Like it was like, you've never jumped in your life. Like you just don't even know. It's like a foreign world. It's so funny. So I was like, all right, he always wants to ride street. He's always down to ride. Like we're gonna ride street. That's his shit. Like I like
Hell
it
yeah.
too.
What sticks out in your mind? I mean, the ice pick down the handrail. What's like an early street trick that you got on a spot that you can remember?
We hit this shady curve wall, and like
Nice.
the curve wall was like made of these bricks, and it had like the edges stuck out, so you can only hit a piece of it, and it had like a bunch of holes in the bricks, so it'd always pinch you and give you flat tires. But I remember like me and him riding this on the side of Route 9, Jersey, which is like basically like a highway, just like trying to learn curved walls in someone's front yard. Like it's so ridiculous. It's not like their front yard, but it's like the entranceway to the neighborhood.
Still, yeah.
Just like I don't know, so funny compared to like the spots we ride now. Like
Yeah.
just being a
It's
grown
like
man.
the pureness of being a kid and just like finding a curved wall. It's like, oh my God, this is a crazy curved wall. But it's dog shit compared to what you ride now. It's
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, if we were there now, I'd have to hit it for like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and then like I started traveling and I turned pro kind of a weird way. So I won Jamie Bestwick had a contest and my dad grew up kind of poor, but he was a surfer and he like lived on the beach for a while and stuff and like all he wanted to do with his life was surf other people's beaches. So when I got into BMX, he was like really cool about like, yo, you like, do you want to go to this skate park? Do you want to check this out? Like, trying
Hell
to like
yeah.
do this. So I wound up going to a contest that Jamie Bestwick was throwing at the Flow Skate Park, which shortly became like I think the best skate park I ever rode. That park had so many options and it just had like the sickest scene, just super core raw BMX stuff. But I wound up winning like I think it was like 15 to 18 class. And I think I won like a frame and a couple other things. And then I also won a free spot into the pro contest.
Nice.
So I got to compete against the pros. And my dad coming from the surfing world, he's like, once you like compete in a pro contest, you can never ever go back.
Huh.
He's like, you kind of get like blacklisted for that. So that's essentially how I became like a pro.
Huh. What do you mean you get blacklisted for that once you complete?
Just you don't like go back to the amateur circuit after you ride a pro contest. You know what I mean? You're like, what's up with this dude? Like,
yeah, he's sandbagging.
He's fried. It's like I had no business being there anyway. And he's like, I wanted to go back, but he's like, if you go back, it's like kind of weird.
So then you just pro from there on out.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I was already getting like hooked up by Nike and stuff, and like, but yeah, I had no business like going. I remember I went to the Metro Gym, and I was just like, dude, this is like too much for me. Like, this is like I have no business being out here. These guys are like fucked. And I did good in the contest by like being like doing little kid tricks and not missing anything.
Yeah.
But like dudes were out there like changing the game in front of my face, just like. It was like the year I think Davis Otter did a tail whip to gap to rail at Metro Gym. It was just like,
damn, yeah.
I was psyched I jumped to the rail. It's just a totally different level. But yeah, then like when I was traveling, like my dad wound up passing away like really shortly after that. So I started traveling a lot on my own, which kind of opened me up to like riding cities when I was at contests.
Nice. Yeah.
Where I was like, just like, a ratchet little 15, 16-year-old kid that would always have trouble getting in a hotel room because hotel rooms won't let kids in.
Yeah.
And then
so
I
was
just
like, out there sending it.
Yes, dude, sending it for sure. And like have my mom on the phone arguing with him, like, well, what do you want my son to stay on the fucking street? Like, blah, blah, blah.
Hell yeah, mom.
And then I'd get into my room and I'd be like calling Corrali with my little like janky cell phone, like, yo, let's go ride. Like
Hell
the contest wasn't enough. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it was a fun thing. I remember like introducing a lot of those dudes to it.
Dude, that's so rad. And yeah, shit. I'm sorry to hear about your dad. That sucks.
Yeah, thank you.
But I imagine that like lit a fire under your ass because his influence from like the surfing and that travel bug like probably impacted you a bit, no?
Yeah, for sure. And like, I don't know, he just taught me a lot of stuff that like, I remember like, for instance, like I went to the Sayreville skate park when it first opened and like, he just knew that like, there was like the bike skate animosity and he was like, I'll show you how to like handle this stuff. He went over like, made friends with like the older skaters, was like drinking beers with them and shit. And the next thing you know, I was like friends and like, integrated BMX into the scene and just like kind of learned that like, if you're cool to people, people will be cool with you.
Yeah.
Dude. And like with street riding, you learn a lot of your job is talking people into letting you do what you're going to do.
For real, dude. Yeah.
And like, you get really good at it, like.
Yeah. Shit. Well, yeah, dude. I can't imagine like that happens and then you kind of grow up fast, but also not grow up. You're riding bikes and traveling and shit, but grow up in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I grew up in a sense of like how to take care of myself and like what to do and what not to do. And I could have went a lot of paths in this time,
Yeah,
but like luckily I was so focused on BMX. Like the only thing I really wanted to do was ride to the
that's what's
point that
up.
I could go out to a contest and be like, dude, this university is not too far. We got to make it to the university and like just make it just this whole planned trip. But I was also really lucky too. Like a lot of people kind of like looked after me. Like I remember like Jerry Batters at Vans and stuff, like would always be like, you need anything? Like, and like just people just knew like I was like literally a 15-year-old kid in like a city by myself, like just
Dude.
running amok. Just
What a life, man. That's so
yeah,
nuts. I
yeah,
mean, I'm trying to picture like what level you were at 15. I have like a visual of you doing like a 900 at some
yeah,
skate or not skate, but a skate park contest. I forget which one, Dew Tour, or Metro Jam maybe, but like
yeah.
like when did you get good? Because is it all,
Um,
you know what I mean?
I would say to me, I got good when I was like 18. I
Okay.
got kind of like man strength and like kind of could really control the bike. But like, yeah, like at the age of 15 when I was riding these contests, I was like I could bring kind of like a Metro Jam style to like the proper park contests, which was like I would kind of ride it back then the same way I did then, where I'd like be trucking off Euro gaps and like manualing and dropping off stuff and like transfer lines with fives and stuff. I don't know. I was really influenced by like a bunch of people, like had like a lot of like the spinny techie Midwest stuff because I loved Kevin Porter,
Mm-hmm.
but also like grew up on van stuff and loved Aiken. So like I had all these different influences and different sides of my riding that were like, I don't know.
Which so beautifully comes together now after I just like rewatched some of your parts on YouTube, and it's just like the perfect blend of like, dude, the truck, the 360 bar spin table over the spot in New Mexico is just like everything together, you know?
Yeah, thank you.
Spin tech, but like beautiful trail trick. It's cool to see like Kevin Porter, Mike Aiken, and then whoever else you were influenced by all come together into what you're doing now. And it's like more than just being able to do the shit. It's like what you choose to do on what spots. It's like I think I've said it before, but like you learn all your tricks when you're young, and then as you get older, you become like a painter, and you're like, I'm gonna do this trick on this spot, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So
Yeah. If
good job,
we're
Garrett.
I appreciate the kind words. But like, yeah, if we were artists, spots are our canvases. And that's why
Yeah,
street riders look for spots, is because like an artist without canvases isn't gonna paint. He'll probably
that's
be
right.
bored out of his mind. And like, I don't know. There's there's nothing like first time spot hype to me. Like the first time you go to a really good spot is gonna be the absolute best experience you'll have there.
For real.
Everything after that will be toned down due to you've been there.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can create that, I always believe that like I can make like my dudes get clips pretty easy and stuff just by like even if they're like bored with riding or like whatever they're going through, they're sore. Like if you take them to something good, like all these dudes love it, they will start
Yeah.
beating the shit out of it.
Big time. And you've been in San Diego for 12 years. Have you run out of new spot
I ran out
hype?
of new spots like 8, 9 years ago. I do a lot of traveling to film now. I go up to LA a bunch and like the IE, which is like Riverside, San Bernardino,
IE,
Moreno
what'd you say?
Valley. Yeah, the Inland Empire.
Oh, okay, IE, yeah. I'm still learning California talk, dude.
Yeah. But it's just like
Yeah,
that end of California.
that's dope.
There's
Um,
a that area is really old, so it's full of spots.
I believe it. It's just California in general, dude. Like this driving around, even spots that aren't spots are spots compared to like being out here. I look at
Yeah.
something that's like at the Walgreens that I'm going to, and it's something that we would drive 20 minutes to ride here, you know? It's
Yeah.
why does California have spots like that? Why do you think?
Because it's hilly. So anything built on the coast is going to have hills, going to have reasons for them to make run-ins to houses, whatever. And then
Yeah,
they do a lot of spray asphalt because it's so dry out here that everything breaks apart.
yeah.
So
That
it's
makes
like
sense.
it's
Change in
like
elevation.
yeah, the change in elevation causes spots. I
Yeah,
think that's why like Phoenix is like we were just out there. Like Phoenix is a little bit harder for spots
it is.
because
Yeah.
really it's really flat
Super
and it
flat.
and it's so big in mass, but like everything you kind of find has almost been discovered.
Yeah,
Like there's
it's
not
very rare.
like it's
We haven't
not
had a
like
new spot pop up in a hot minute.
yeah. I mean, it seems like they are doing some developing. Like I don't know, like we rode ASU and stuff, and like that's the stadium rails were new. Those are sick.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
like they're making new stuff, but it's like it's not as endless with like the amount of areas that are elevated. Like
yeah.
California or like Salt Lake City's like full of spots because it's so elevated. And
Dude, I've
it's
never
like
gotten a ride in Salt Lake City. I'd love to. Denver is so sick for spots too. Like just
yeah, Denver's amazing.
yeah, pedaled around with Dut a little bit and was like, oh my god, this place is incredible. It's like a
Yeah,
dreamland, and the
yeah,
weather's so bomb.
yeah. People that were born there are very lucky.
Yeah, and you don't know what you got until you
It's gone. Yeah.
move somewhere else. Like, uh, where were we though in your career? You're 18. Pick it up
Yeah.
from
So
there.
like
What happens next,
18,
Garrett?
18 is like I feel like I want to say props bio, Nike
So
part kind of era.
Stu just told me about this, but I want to
Yeah.
hear it from your perspective. How did the props bio come up?
I forget. I think he asked me. He asked me somewhere. Maybe it was that contest because I heard I got tagged in it. But I remember him asking me and be like, "Oh, dude, like I was a props kid. Like I was like, oh hell yes, let's do a props bio." But also too, like never really did that kind of thing where like I was just gonna go fly out and stay with someone I didn't really know. Like I think my context was still was like, hey, do you want to do a props bio? Like, yeah, that'd be sick. Like, all right, cool. Like, I'm gonna go back to filming the content. Like, okay, like like
All right, yeah,
I
see
didn't
you in
know
a
what I
couple
was
weeks.
in
Fly
for.
out and stay at my house.
Yeah, it was sick too. Yeah, I just literally went out there, and that was kind of like my first experience of like the professional side of filming, where like every day Einstein bagels. That's Stu shit. And then he had a MacBook full of spots. And you're sitting there like eating our bagels and stuff, and like we're just like going through like picking where we're gonna ride. Like everything
Sick.
was street riding before me. Like for me, is like I grew up riding Philly. Philly's full of spots, so you just pedal around and you're just gonna run into stuff. Where this was like, oh, I can actually work on this project, like make my own puzzle,
Yeah.
and like I can build the steps. You know what I mean? Like I could ride here, which would warm me up to do this, to go to this, rather
Yep.
than like riding around aimlessly. You're just gonna like pop up and stuff, and it's like pull the trigger, don't come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. Just like I picture that time. It was like just listening to like Merciful Fate and stuff in Stu's van, just cruising around Austin. And I was like such a BMX fan at the time. He was like always telling me stories about them filming Anthem 2. And
Nice.
like I used to love Sean Burns. I still do. But I was like, yeah, like what do you do here? And he's like, he like nose bonked off this. And I'm like, yo, how did he know like it's the one
Yeah.
nose bonk that lands in the curb cut?
Yep.
Like I just remember him showing that to me and being like, how did he do that? Like and like, it's everything was so much more elusive then. Like Sean Burns was like no one knows what this dude, you know what I mean? You really
Yeah.
don't know what he's doing. I just seen a picture with him with Stu, so I know he did some crazy shit.
Yeah. This is pre-social media, the props bio, like 2000,
Yeah.
like Instagram's not a thing yet.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm
think like Facebook was starting to become a thing, I believe.
Yeah, maybe MySpace. Like
Yeah, MySpace was
shit,
definitely
dude.
popping.
Wild. And just to like be able to work on a project with Stu, who has all the BMX history in the world, like from 1995, he's been putting out full lengths, which is
Yeah,
so crazy, dude. Like
yeah,
I mean, I've known Stu's a legend, but talking to him, I was like, damn, dude, like you've done
yeah.
so much, and he's still going.
He,
It's so
yeah,
sick.
and he's such a good dude, and he has like BMX's best interest with everything. He's like the perfect dude to be working in our industry for that long because he is just such a like hard worker with everything he does. Like
Big time.
even like on those trips, like I can remember like getting multiple clips and being like yeah, like I don't know, I feel like it's like a good day. And he's like, what do you think you like would want to go back to that one thing, or do you want to go another day? Like I feel like that would really work for your part, blah blah blah. Like he was just like
On it.
very in tune with like, dude, like let's make this the best you can. Like, like he kind of could see that these couple add-ons would really add to the project.
Yeah. And He made it sound so casual. He was like, "Yeah, Garrett is super chill. Just take him to a spot, and he'll figure something out. And just, it's easy." I was like, "Is it? Is it? Is that? Was it that easy?"
I mean, dude, new spots is always kind of like, I don't say easy, you're definitely trying, but it's easier.
Yeah. Hell
Like if
yeah.
I'm trying to film around home right now, it's like, all right, like things I've not done because a specific reason, maybe something I don't like about the spot or the health risk involved.
Yeah.
And like a new area is like, oh, I haven't even like, or a new project, and it's like I have no switch whips. Like, oh,
Yeah.
easy, I can get on the board. You can kind of build your confidence like that. It's like the ending process of a video part's always the hardest,
Mm-hmm. Because
but
you don't want to
the
repeat
beginning's always
tricks.
easy. Yeah,
Yeah. It's funny you say on the board. I love saying on the board. Like whenever somebody
yeah,
gets a clip, I'm like, he's on the board. Let's go.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I always joke around with Matt Clausen with that. Like anytime we do like our trips, he's like our assistant TM. He's more of a TM than me.
hell
We're
yeah,
like,
he's the
yeah, boy,
shit.
you're on the board. You're on the board. There we go. There we go. Like he's like like the super supportive dude. We're like, oh no,
Yes.
I'm more like, yeah, dude, that was sick. Like
Yep. We should talk about Clausen and his, uh, well, awesomeness. First of all, I was going to say the knee thing, but I mean,
yeah.
that's pretty buck. We don't have to talk about that. Let's talk about the props thing for a second. What sticks out in your mind is like a scary memory in that video part, or like what did you have to work the hardest for, if anything?
That nose bond bar I did where I
Yeah.
dropped down, that thing I broke a pair of forks in half.
Shit.
Like I
Which
broke
way
them
half?
like so I broke them at the bend of the fork, not even on the weld, straight in the middle.
Yikes.
Just one of the times it just snapped and then my like tire stopped moving and like pitched me forward. So I was like, I don't know, I was riding like I think Odyssey race forks or something. Probably
I
should have
remember
been like,
those.
should have been on like beefier forks or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
was like I remember going back to that spot being like I really want to do this, but this is gonna suck. And I was like, it's like one of those spots where it's on a hill.
Mm-hmm.
Any spot where you're taking a really big drop and the ground isn't absolutely flat, it's gonna spit whatever side you're landing on. The high side of the hill is gonna spit that side of your body off every time
Yeah.
because the impact's being more dispersed to that end than the other side.
Right.
So it was like one of those situations where like, dude, I had to do it so many times that day and I couldn't hold on. And then I broke the forks and was like, went straight to Empire, got new forks, and like it was a little bit too late to go back. And like the next day, I was like, "Yeah, you want to go back and do that?" I was just like, "Dude, this is hectic," right? But I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know. That's the fun thing about filming. Like sometimes, like you're looking at it and you're like, I don't know if I really want to put myself through it. But then you get this crazy dopamine release when you get that, and you're like, "This is why we ride." Like this
Yeah,
is
for real.
and it's like that high can either spark you to continuing filming, and like any bad day can make you like contemplate retiring.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Like I can't do this. I'm done, dude. This is the worst shit ever.
When was your last retirement day, Garrett?
Ooh, I've had plenty of them. Working on this new part, like I'm always trying to get that next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple tech tricks that were pretty hectic. I had one this weekend where I was at a spot in Santa Ana trying to get this trick, and I was getting dumb close. But the trick I was doing was just really hard to control, all the like rotating weight. And like I think like 5 skaters from LA came to skate the same spot.
Is
And
it
was
the little
like,
rails by the parking garage? Did I see
no,
this?
it's like a little outledge thing in Santa Ana. A bunch of people.
Okay.
Dak has a very notable trick on it. He did like the sickest shit. He did backwards grind, fakie turn down, fakie manual, drop into the street.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
One of my favorite Dak clips. But yeah, like the skaters were super, super cool, but they came up from LA and they like wanted to skate the spot too. So it's just like super hectic, just like trying to do this trick, skaters trying to skate it. They wound up giving me a bit of a window and I wound up getting it, but like
Hell
it's just you know what I mean? It's hectic. Like you're so close, but now you want to keep going, but like the skaters are kind of distracting you because you got to get into that blackout zone to like do those level of tricks for myself. We wound up making friends and the kids were super cool and shit, but like in the moment you have those moments where you're like, I came so close, I pulled Tony up here. It's 90 degrees. I put an hour and a half into it. My clothes are literally wet. Like I went in a pool, like I sweat that much. And I'm like, we're not going to get the trick. And I'm kind of like messing these kids' filming day up from out. It's like, just like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like you're in such a fragile state of mind that like the negativity breeds into this crazy cycle. Then you get out of your head and you're like, oh no, like we're all after the same shit.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm picturing the skaters like not knowing who you are and just this dude's not landing a trick. He's like, wow, this biker sucks, dude.
Yeah, he definitely like he's got close, but it looks fucking hard. Need them stars to align.
Oh shit! I can't wait to see what that trick is, dude. Now I'll know on that outlet.
I got a nice couple bodies on it and stuff, and like just a couple like slams where like you're just lazy and limp and being like, oh, am I done? Do I still have it in me, or do I keep going? Like,
and then you see it through and you got it.
Yeah,
dude. It is the worst feeling to like give up on something, but also there's a point where it's like, all right, cut your losses and move on. That's a tough one to like navigate, like,
yeah.
And as you've gotten older, I'm sure you've been through enough situations that you can kind of help the homies, the younger dudes, like, hey, maybe, do you do that? Do you help them or coach, at the spot?
Yeah.
It's a weird way to put it, but
I wouldn't say the coach, but I'm definitely like trying to help in any way I can, whether it be like making sure they have water, giving them wax, modifying the spot if need be, whatever I need to do, but also being like, if today's not your day, man, there's always tomorrow. Like
for real, yeah.
Like seriously, don't feel pressured. But it's hard for us because like our group of dudes really likes to like push to that next little level.
Yeah.
Which is like if we all just refined it back a little bit, we'd probably just get clips really easy. But we're always pushing for that next thing, and it's like the hardest, most stressful thing on you, but it's also the most rewarding.
Yeah, so, big time.
I mean, I learned how to work. Everyone's different, and like Tony knows it too. That you work with everyone different. Like some people need to be told that you got it. Some people need to be told like a little bits of confidence, like yo, like one step at a time. Don't get too ahead of yourself with it. Start thinking about the part you're fucking up on rather than the first part of the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people need to be told that they suck and they should quit.
Yeah, like me. Now, and I mean, they help me too, man. They're like, we're like definitely family oriented, where it's like there's never a session where like someone's like, man, I hope he doesn't get this shit. Like,
yeah,
we're all like, we're just like, yo, like you got it. And then like, I think people get a lot in their heads about not landing the trick and people wanting to go film. And like, anytime our group of dudes are together, we're just like, dude, I'm so glad I don't have to ride right now.
Yeah, for real. Please keep trying your trick.
Yeah, dude,
we're all chilling, man.
We got a party in this parking lot going on over here. We are totally cool not going to the kink rail. Like.
Yeah, dude, that's the best. And from I think Clausen was telling me that sessions with you guys is like it's kind of super chill, and then somebody goes in, and then all of a sudden it's like game on. Everybody's going in.
Because all of our dudes are so mellow and just easy going that it doesn't always like, it's not like people just jump out of the van and want to ride.
Yeah.
It's like, if we got a good stuff, someone will be into it. Once someone starts riding it, you'll see the values in the spot and then sparks ideas,
Yeah.
I've been on lots of trips where people will be like, oh, I don't know about this spot. And then someone rides and they're like, oh shit, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Like you just need someone to kind of like break in the ways you can use the spot.
Feeds off of each other.
Or like, sometimes people get in their head, they don't want to be the hungry one on the trip.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever go through that? Like, what was your first experience as like a team trip when you were younger?
I'm trying to think. My like first team trip. The first like real trip I ever did to like film was I flew to LA to film with Nigel and Mark Losey, because Nigel was the other dude. He was the other dude on Nike, and he got on right after me. And yeah, like never met Mark Losey in my life. Knew he was like one of the photographers from Ride from following the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Literally picked me up from LAX, and we went and rode street literally all day. And then
what a crew! Losey, and Nigel. That's good.
Yeah, and like me and Nigel at the time were so quiet. Like I just remember being like both just like not knowing how to act and like not knowing what to do, and like,
yep.
Should we keep filming? Do we keep riding? Like, do you want us to do everything we can do at every spot? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like we're figuring it out. We're very new to the game.
Yeah. And that's part of the process. That's like one of my favorite things that I got out of BMX is just the shit that you learn on trips and like the social things that you learn, the like professional shit you learn. It's the best. What about after that? What was your first like, I guess so you're on Nike, but what about bike sponsor? Did you do any like premium trips that you can remember, or
no, I don't think we ever did one. Yeah, no. So like they made that video before I'd got on, and by the time I got on, I think that they were like more or less just kind of like, because premium's owned by Haro and it's all like contest shit.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like,
I think your first frame sponsor? Sorry.
Yeah, no, actually I rode for Redline right before that.
Oh yeah, I remember Redline Garrett, dude. Shit.
Yeah, I always forget about that. I had that the black and green device.
Yeah, dude, that thing was sick. And then you had the punk. I remember the whole kit, the longer hair, bandana. You and JJ both with the bandana. I remember being so confused, dude. Who the fuck? These two looking.
It's funny too because we look like nothing alike, but like I don't know. I guess in like VX footage and stuff, it's like it is a little harder to tell. Like, well, I mean, like similar riding style. One's right, one's left, one's 5'8", one's 6'2".
Yeah. JJ was taller when I first met him in person. I was like, "Oh shit, you're taller in person, huh?"
Yeah. He's one of the taller BMXers for sure.
I love JJ. He moved out here for a bit, and then I got to meet him and work with him, and he's the shit. Super chill, knows good head on his shoulders.
He's got the best head on his shoulders, the nicest, funniest person, but also like low key one of the funniest persons to like people to talk shit with. Like he is so funny, dude.
Hell yeah. Yeah, miss good old JJ. Does he live out with you guys now in San Diego? Where is he?
No, he lives right up the street.
Nice.
He lives with his girlfriend right now.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Shit. He's gone through it the past couple of years.
For sure.
The where were we? Team trip, learning stuff.
Team trip.
Premium, Redline Garrett.
Honestly, like my first real because I'll jump back. We did a lot of like individual trips. My buddy Wade Young, he filmed for like Shook and stuff a little bit.
Yeah, I remember him.
So
I never met him, but I remember his name.
He was always big on organizing trips.
He was the rollerblade filmer.
Yeah.
My fucking guy. Let's go.
But yeah, he was like, so he would film for Shook and stuff. And as we were getting a little bit older, like we were all kind of getting into street riding. Ken Aida came out. And it was kind of influencing, like, oh, this is sick. You can go ride cities and stuff. Wade would always like organize these little trips we used to call Christmas trips, where all of us would like ask our families for money. We put all the money into gas, and we'd try to get out of like our area, like the tri-state area, and go somewhere's a little bit warmer and film for like Christmas. And, like,
nice.
That's kind of how I met everyone in the BMX industry. Like Mike Hoder came and and I used to show people around my area too, because Tom's River actually has a couple like good spots, but it's just really limited. But I remember like I met Mike Hoder when I was like 15. He came to my first ever party I had.
No shit, Mike Hoder's at your first party ever. Yeah. Damn, that's legendary.
I have so many fucking funny stories from that night. But
can we give me one, dude? Let's pause on that party for a second. First party ever.
Having Mike Hoder just like at my house and like him acting kind of crazy and like just trying to like tone him down, but being so intimidated by his size. Like all these kids, like a little kid like me that like literally is just starting to hit puberty. I was already a small kid, and then like full grown man Mike Hoder just like shooting down vodka and just like, yo dude, like chill.
And he's screaming and shit, being Hoder. Yeah. That's great.
But he's like the most kind, loving person in the world. I love Mike Hoder.
Of course. That's great, dude. Oh man. I'm trying to, yeah. That's a funny visual. Just, hey man, can you please chill?
There's just like, just doing funny, like, just, I don't want to put him on blast, but just like shit or like, yo dude, like.
All right. So these Christmas trips, what was the Shook that you and JJ were in? Or was it you and JJ?
No, it's just me. That was Shook Like Totally.
Like Totally.
And that was I think that was 2007, I believe. The summer of 2007, I went and stayed with Mike Hoder. Yet again, so we phased into it perfectly.
Yeah.
I went and stayed with him in Seattle. And yeah, I think we went out there, me and Wade went out there and filmed for like a week. Hoder showed us around. We kicked it with him and his friend Zeb. His friend Zeb was fucking out of his mind. I don't think he even really rode, but like he said he wanted to get a clip for this video, and he like ice picked an 18 or 19 stair rail so loose and ran into these people's car. But it was like Mike Hoder's dad owns a house, and then he owns like some Section 8 housing right next to it.
Yeah.
This kid Zeb was like Hoder's homie, and like he didn't come out riding with us the whole week we were there. And then one day it was like, I'm gonna get a clip today, and like Hoder's like, dude, you don't even have a bike. He's like, I'll just put pegs on your bike. And he literally ice picks like an 18 stair rail, this apartment complex, like literally a block from Mike Hoder's fucking house, and just blasts this car. It's in the video, and just the funniest shit.
Hell yeah. Dude, I love dudes like that. I could never do that. Be like, yeah, I'm gonna get a clip today. Yeah, just give me your bike and ice pick an 18 stair rail. That's nuts.
Yeah, like the whole situation was just so funny. Just kicking it with Hoder and like his hometown, kicking it like in between the houses he owned in the apartment complex. His Hoder was like kind of like knew every single buddy in that apartment complex, and we'd just be like, just posted up, just running into his life. It was like really fun.
That's wild. Well, that's a cool trip to be on when you're young. You're like 33, 34. How old are you now?
Yeah, I just turned 33.
33. Yeah. So you were 17 in 2007, no?
Yep.
Yeah. Shit. 17-year-old hanging out with Mike Hoder in Seattle. That sounds bomb.
Yeah.
What happens after that?
Trying to think. I think after that was like the Nike video, and that was like kind of my first taste of like traveling globally.
Yeah.
Like
where did you guys all go? What was your favorite place from filming for Nike? Writing on the Wall.
Writing on the Wall. I'm trying to think. It was sick to go to Melbourne.
Fuck yeah. That's one of the 2 times that you went, yeah?
Yeah. We went to Melbourne. We went to Phoenix. We got to meet Smoker Dave. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in
peace.
But
he was really cool. He showed us around. He knew the spots very well. We went to Atlanta. I really liked Atlanta.
Atlanta's fucking rad.
We went there in like maybe November or something. So it's already getting cold in Jersey, but the weather was so perfect there.
Hell yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know. Atlanta's like a really easy city to ride.
Did you guys all go together on these trips for the video? Like,
was
Nigel and Spinner with you? And
yeah, Nigel, Spinner, Dennis, me, like every single trip. And it was like, dude, these trips were super dope. We had like usually like an RV to take us around, and like, I don't know, we'd always stay at pretty nice hotels and eat really well. Like it was like an A-list BMX
Nike
trip.
shit. That's dope.
Yeah, Nike shit for sure.
Is that how you got introduced to Dennis, or did you guys meet before that?
So I met Dennis. At there was like when Metro Jam stopped, there was like another contest that filled in that was, I want to say it was called something else, but it wasn't Metro Jam. And I met him there really briefly, and I was like, holy shit, they like hired a really good kid. Like he did I think he did like a triple whip or something at that contest.
Dude, you two are something else. It's pretty wild. Every time the GOAT conversation comes up, it's Dennis and Garrett. And who wins, just real quick, between you two in a game of bike?
Dennis. I guess Dennis. It depends on what it's on.
It does depend, huh?
Pretty sure I could smoke him on a flat rail, but I don't think I could hang in the trails.
Dude, he's so good. It's nuts.
Yeah. He's crazy. Like the shit he does, I'm like, I don't even know if that's considered a trick or a stunt. Like you just like,
yeah, dude, he's a stunt rider.
You don't even like, I don't know, like he's just nuts. Like he's just so confident. Like I went out with Tony filmed his Vans part.
Yeah.
Asa.
Yeah.
And like I went out with him a couple times, and I was like, dude, me and him look at riding so much different. Like
I believe it.
Like, he would go to like a big spot, and like I'm down to ride big spots too. But if I'm gonna ride a big spot, I'm gonna go through like every single trick I can do and get like warm to like the point I feel the best I possibly could. He would literally do like one hot bar, 180, sketchy switch 180, and be like, all right, I'm ready, and just fucking handles and shit. I was like, dude, the audacity of you, you're crazy. Right?
I wish I could see that shit in person, but I don't even know. Like that's a whole other level.
His riding's like bull riding. Like it doesn't translate in video.
Yeah.
Like you have to actually be there and be like, you really just jumped to that rail right now. That is like It's
You're
like
nuts.
it's 11 a.m., dude. Like I'm still kind of like I've been up for a few hours. My brain's still kind of like waking up.
Yep. Dude, man, that video part is unbelievable. You said it's
Yeah,
Asa? Is that how you pronounce it? Asa?
yeah, Asa. Yeah, that's his
Like,
son's name.
that's a cool ass name because I've been saying it Asaya, but it's that video part is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, ass is every one of his.
Yeah, for real. All right. So Nike writing on the wall. That's a cool trip. Atlanta, Melbourne, blah blah blah. I mean,
Yeah,
I kind of want to talk about Spinner. What was it like
yeah.
hanging out with Mike Spinner?
Dude, Spinner was fucking hilarious. I when I think of Spinner, so I met Spinner with my dad at one point, and my dad drove us from a contest to a skate park. And there was a point where Spinner was like the Midwest, like kind of style rider where he's really tech.
Yeah.
And like you couldn't get this kid off his bike. Like I remember like me and my dad being ready to leave and him like still doing like foot jam double whips and like five cabs and stuff and being like, all right, dude, like, it's been a long day. Maybe we should get out of here. Like, all right, like one more
He's like,
minute.
just one more, one more.
Yeah. But then, dude, he blew up and he turned into the contest rider. And he's like the only rider I've ever seen do the straight 180. And like, I could remember like maybe 2 or 3 years later being on trips with him. And this specific trip I'm thinking of, we're in Paris. And this fool is literally like on Facebook hitting on girls, trying to get a tour guide to get him Wi-Fi. And we're in like the projects of Paris. And he's like asking Mark Lewis, he's like, yo, like, you think like I can go to Australia and use my Nike budget to go to Australia? Like, I really want to fuck this girl. Like
and he's
the
serious
biggest
too.
180. Yeah, like I could remember like Mark Losey's the best team manager in the world. And he always took really good care of us. And like you could see it was clearly getting under his skin, but he had so much respect for him that he wouldn't really like just air out how he felt. It's like, dude, you're on a trip to Paris. You should be riding. Like,
yeah, be stoked that you're here, man.
Yeah,
in
like
Paris, he's like, "Can I go to Australia? I'm horny."
Yeah, and we're riding like I don't know, like we're the area of Paris we're riding is like that area with like all the banks that circle around us, a volcano.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally like you can't go to a cooler street spot.
Yeah,
Like the closest thing to a plaza you can find. It's like
it's just like, where's the Wi-Fi?
got like 7 spots. Yeah, like this. I could like it was just like the funniest situation, and like me and Dennis, we were like super hyper younger kids at the time. And I'm like pretty chill, but when my energy spikes, I can be like super ADD and ADHD and shit. And like Dennis is like me times 10. Like I always roomed with him and I've always roomed with Spinner. And I can just remember like sleeping and him like waking me up, slapping me and like flipping me over in my bed and stuff. And like, I don't know, there's so many good memories of just like literally driving. We used to just torture Mark Losey.
I believe it.
And like we wouldn't even torture him like to be like a dick. We would torture him because we were filming with Glenn P. Milligan.
Yeah.
And he loved when we tortured him. So he was just laughing the whole time. We just like I don't know, Mark Losey was like scared of security guards.
Yeah, I
and
can see that.
Like, security's coming. I'd be like, who the fuck cares? Like that was like, and this time I was really like loose and like couldn't care less because I grew up riding Philly and it was like, dude, like this is not a problem. Like we'll be fine. Worst comes to worst, they're gonna tell us to leave. Like I'm just like I don't know, just kind of picking on him and stuff. But
and then if you get Glenn laughing, he's got that accent and that laugh, dude. Like I would be doing whatever makes Glenn laugh the whole trip too.
yeah, and he's funny, and so is Nigel. So if you get everyone in on it, dude, just picking on the TM, it's just like
that's the best.
The worst situation. But we wouldn't do it all the time. We just do it sometimes.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know, everyone to give it to each other, it's family vibes.
That's the best, dude. I think I was just joking with somebody. My love language is insults. Like just fucking,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, talking shit with the boys is like the best.
Yeah, and you never go like below the belt, but there's like a specific way you can insult people.
Yeah, exactly. Some fun shit. Which actually, I remember like learning the hard way of like, ooh, that hurt my feelings, and then you kind of got to harden up a little bit.
You don't call the fat kid fat,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can joke around about a lot of shit, but you don't go into people's insecurities.
Yeah, big time. Shit. Okay, let's keep it going. Tell me, fuck, your career is insane. We're on chapter 2 of 20.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's like a lot of it's been a long time since I thought about it, but there's so many stories I could probably come
Yeah.
up with.
Let's pause for 1 second and think about it. I gotta pee real bad. BRB.
Okay, so we're
And we're
back.
back.
All right. So after that, I feel like the next thing was like I bought this VX and we started filming Deadline.
Nice. That's what I was gonna ask when Deadline began.
Yeah, so Deadline's been around for a really long time. You can see that. I don't know if you saw the birthday post, but there's a clip of my best friend Corey punching me in the head with all these different color bandanas. It's like 2003. We had
2003. Damn.
yeah. So Deadline has been around like forever. My buddy, he just had like he had like a heat press and a computer, and he's like his family always did like stuff on the boardwalk for like clothing companies and stuff. So he always like just made random little shirts, and like that's kind of like it's been around since then. Yeah.
Look at that baby, dude.
Yeah, I am a little dude there. But then it kind of like got, I guess, it was never serious, honestly, which is like the weird thing that we have like a serious video. Cause like when I bought the VX, it was like, all right, like we just made this Nike video. Like it's cool to have a camera. I need a camera.
Yeah.
So I bought myself a camera and I was like, all my friends are really good at riding. I want to showcase how good they are at riding, and that's kind of how it all started. And then Ty wound up getting on board, and Ty was like a lot more serious about like the video side.
Mm-hmm.
So like my beginning like broke him and shit. He's like, oh, we can't use this. Like this isn't, he was like a skate perception kid. Like he was very dialed with filming, camera settings, everything. He knew all about it.
I haven't heard skate perception in so long. That was the shit, dude. That was
but
cool.
I could like clearly remember filming Ty and being like, yo, let me see what those colors are looking like, and being like, oh shit, here we go. Like intimidating. He'd be like, tough love, but when it was set up ready, he'd be like, I would want a little bit more blue, but it looks good. But
you need one of those guys. You need Ty around.
No, I mean, dude, he literally made our filming jump up such a high level in a short amount of time by like really like teaching us, and like we all wanted to learn. You know what I mean? Like anytime someone did a trick and it was gonna be hard for them, I wanted to make it look as good as possible, which is why people love to work with good filmers. But like shortly after we started filming for the video, and we did some trips. The most memorable one I can think of was our trip to Miami. I have some really funny stories about that one. Like we stopped in West Palm Beach to like link up with some of Ty's homies and stuff, and like picture an 18-year-old me that's not legally allowed to rent a van, driving this van through Florida. We're in West Palm Beach, where Ty's from, and we park up at this church where he's like, oh yeah, we ride downtown all the time. So we park, and like literally a cop trails us into it, and we're already stressing because like there's like all kinds of shit in the car we're not supposed to have. And like we're to start taking our bikes out, and the cop's like, if you guys don't have bike lights, I'm gonna give you guys all $100 tickets for like bike lights. So I just, I'd recommend you guys just leave. And we're like, oh, all right, man, like we'll leave or whatever. And we're like, wait a couple minutes, like, all right, cops going, like, we're gonna go ride. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we came all the way from Jersey. We're not gonna not ride. So we got into this situation where it's like 8 of us, and we're riding this little sea ledge in like one of the downtown areas or whatever. And a cop kind of starts to pull up on us, and we all just kind of started to run. And literally, like, I am not lying when I tell you this, it turned into like a police chase with like their police. Like I almost got hit by a cop car running from a cop car.
Damn.
Like, it took a corner with me and slid, but like we ran for long enough that we got multiple cops chasing us.
You got up to 3 stars.
Yeah,
GTA type shit.
Yeah, GTA. We were like, it felt like 5. Like I was like, dude, like this is crazy. Like I literally thought about getting off my bike at one point and just like trying to talk to the cop and just put my hands up. And I just remember like all of us breaking up, almost getting hit by a car, cops freaking out. And then there was a parking garage that you couldn't get in. So I went in through the backside, And I remember like seeing the cop was trying to get around the block, and I just traveled up, took the stairs up, and I was watching from like the 8th story. I remember just freaking out with all the homies and being like, dude, what are we gonna do? We're all split up and we're like communicating through our phones. And like I literally thought about just calling the cops and like trying to talk to them.
And like, hey, it's me. You're chasing me.
Like, dude, this got so out of control. Like literally, like I'm like, whatever cop gets us is gonna like literally arrest us and like try to beat the shit out of us. Like it was gonna be super rough. So I was like, yo, my idea became, I'm not gonna do that, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk my bike back to the van. And if the cop comes to me, I'll be the one to talk to the cop and just explain the whole situation, and like whatever happens, happens. So I'm walking and I'm like, this cop's gonna find me, right? Make it like 1 block, 2 block, 3 blocks, whatever. Next thing you know, I'm at the van, no cops. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll grab the van. Dude, I grab the van and I go back to the parking garage. I literally pick the dudes up, get everyone into the car. Everyone's stressing. My one homie threw up. He was so nervous. And like, we start driving out of town and a cop trails us and trails me all the way to the highway. And we started leaving towards Miami and he just let us go. But I just remember being like,
damn,
the craziest situation of my life. Like,
yeah, you got away.
Holy like shit. We got away, but I was like, I feel like it would have just like, I can't believe the cop didn't pull us over. He might not have known if it was us because like the van had tints on it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was super hectic. And that was on our way to Miami. We're like, at this time we were all really young. So we went to Miami and we had 2 hotel rooms like right outside of like downtown. And Miles came and like we just turned it into like this crazy party. Like
I believe it.
Just Miles, you know what I mean?
Miles brings just the party.
Like, yeah, just young kids that like went out here to film, and it just got so sideways so quick. But dude, I was like thinking back on that time, that was like one of the funnest times ever. Like just being that free. I remember we went to like I think a music concert or something, and I think I was like, oh, I'm not gonna drive the van. Like I'm not gonna drive the van drunk. That's just crazy. Augie's like, I'll fucking do it. And I remember, like we went to the concert or whatever it was, and then we were leaving, and there was like obviously hella traffic to get out of it. It was like in a fairgrounds kind of thing. And I remember he almost drove the van. He was like, "Oh look, there's a way out here." I'm like, "Yo, those are stairs. Those are stairs." Oh shit! And then he like almost drove the van down these stairs into like a barricaded area. It was so fun. Just like that whole trip was so ratchet, but honestly, people killed it on that trip.
That's how the best trips are. Like, especially when you're younger, like the party / wake up and still get shit done.
Which, well, yeah, you're like, you're vibing off of last night and that rolls over into the next day, which creates that spark.
Yeah. What about you and riding hungover? Can you do it? I'm sure you
can. I did for a long time. So like, even like, dude, a lot of X Games and shit over the years, like I would just go out and party.
Yeah.
Like part of it would just be because like I don't think I personally handle like the pressure and all that shit very well. And it's just like, even though it's so chill, it's still just like, I don't know, you don't think about it this way, but like, all right, tomorrow at 12 p.m. you're gonna do your hardest tricks.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And it's just like it's a lot to sleep with. So when I was younger, I would just like go out and party and just try to never even think about it and then just show up, and it really kind of helped me.
Yeah.
But then there's a couple of years I was like, all right, I'm getting too old for this. I like cannot do it. Yeah. This is seriously crazy. This is way harder.
I've heard simple session is like that. Like it's party until 6 a.m. and then some people don't sleep and they compete the next day.
Yeah. I think between the riders, we'd say that if you didn't go out, you're cheating.
Nice.
So there's like an unfair advantage because everyone's kind of just pride. It was just like, dude, this guy's trying to win. Hard.
Look at this try hard going to sleep.
Yeah, dude. Simple session isn't like that kind of contest. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like simple session, the reason it was big, it was like an exposure thing.
Yeah.
I was like, go there, get your couple clips, get in those videos and stuff, and then like the contest, like I guess it matters, but it's more or less like a party festival thing.
Yeah.
Like Swamp Fest or something,
Yep. Which is dope. Simple session's huge. One of these years I'll get out there.
Yeah, you should definitely go if you've never been.
Yeah.
Definitely a good time, especially if you're friends with a lot of the guys and stuff like you are.
Yeah, 100%. Party time. Let's go. I'm a little old, but let's go party.
Yeah. Might wake up feeling rough.
Yeah, dude. I'll go party and then I'll fly home immediately. Like, all right, screw this.
Wake up with anxiety and be like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm never going on a BMX trip again.
Oh man. Dude, this last trip that I went out and stayed in San Diego with Matt and Case was my first like BMX trip in a couple of years, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, sleeping on a couch, the whole thing. It was fun.
It gets harder as you get older.
Yeah, I'm like, I could go
good,
for
though.
a bed.
It toughens you out.
Yeah, it sure does. It reminded me like, oh, okay, yeah. This is where we're coming from. I forgot.
Yeah, we've came a long way.
Yeah, it's like you start taking for granted because I've been traveling and staying in nice hotels and shit, and like really comfortable beds and pure darkness, no noise. And this trip, I was like, okay, this is it. You know, I love it. All right, so deadline, Miami trip. What do I want to know about deadline? I guess, and that's interesting that Ty came in and made the like elevated the filming. Dude, Ty's so good. I've sweated Ty since like the OG Ty Federal videos.
Absolutely, that's my guy. One of the best. I'd say the most official video part router of all time.
Yeah, pretty fucking epic.
Like he's like kind of known just for that, and he's really made like one hell of a career out of it.
Big
like,
time.
Stayed around for a lot of years. Like if you look at it, like when I was growing up, like I don't know, a lot of my favorite pros were like phasing out like 25.
Yeah, for real. How old is Ty?
He'd be 33.
Nice. Yeah. Shit, we're all the same age.
Yep. Yeah. Ty's just a couple months older than me.
So you were born in 1990 then?
Right? Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go. Good year.
Yeah. Super good year.
What's shit just left my brain?
I think the next thing you talk about is like Tony kind of came on board when we moved to San Diego.
And so deadline, this is like similar time period. Well, real quick, does Ty have footage? Is he working on something?
So Ty was working on Still Searching with Josh Harrington and
No,
Tony.
not back then, right now.
Oh, he's got a little bit of footage right now.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, he's working. He's got like maybe 5 clips or something for the new project.
Hell yeah. I'm excited to see that. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's
back to memory lane.
Of course. Boy goes in. Okay. So yeah, Still Searching. End Search. Dude, End Search was fire. Anyway, so yeah, pick it up. Where's the story going?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm gonna say we skipped around so much.
I know.
It's hard to pick up, but I'm like, I guess if we're talking about deadline, I guess like the next thing would be like, you know, we did these trips. Ty would always come and stay with me. People would come and stay with me in Jersey, and we ride Philly and New York a bunch, just because like where I was located, I'm like only an hour from each of them. But then the video really did start to pick up when we moved and got the house in California, and you know, Colin would come out and stay with me on like Christmas vacation and stuff, and we had like a proper filmer, so I think like the video actually started to take a lot more shape. And then like I had pretty much at the time enough footage to make a video, but it was like kind of like some of it was dated and some of it wasn't filmed up to like Tony's style filming, you know, like perfect film clips. So we kind of refined it back down and started working from there. Yeah, it was like, it's crazy because it seemed like it took a really long time, but like I'd say like it was maybe like a year and a half of us in California. That thing was done.
Nice. When it's game time and you put everybody together with the filmer, it doesn't take that long.
Yeah, and we had 2 trips to Barcelona too. I kind of forgot to mention those, and you know we had really good time on those trips. And
it's funny you say these cities and I can just like picture the clips in my head. Like as soon as you say it, I'm just like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Those trips were like a lot like the Miami trips. Like just people were so out of their minds and young at this time, and like we just didn't know how to act, dude. Fuck, man. Like the first deadline trip, I put us up in a pretty nice hotel, and one of my homies got super drunk. One of my best friends, Brian Carter, and he threw a piece of furniture out the window. It's just like, dude, you guys And dude, yeah. And then we went to a hostel, and then someone else decided to get really drunk. And if you ever stayed in a hostel, especially in different countries, they give you like a locker for your like super important valuables. This fool got super drunk and pissed all over the locker with people's like passports in
Oh
them. Just like so out of control. And like I think at the time maybe I was like 17 turning 18 or 18 turning 19, just like trying my best to keep people in check, but like also on my own like fun too, and like just being like, dude, this is crazy.
That's fucking awesome. And
Yeah, but
you
there are so
can't,
many good stories. Yeah.
yeah, you can't like, I would, if I mean, obviously you wouldn't trade that shit for the world. Like that, just
No way.
the homie pissing on a locker. It's like, if you could tell him not to, maybe, but
Dude, it's like
it's good for the
like
memories.
on CKY or something. It was so ridiculous. I'm just like, dude, like,
Like, what was going on during the fireworks for your intro?
oh, so when we lived in Jersey, we always used to just play with fireworks, like and stuff all the time. Like I'd be sleeping or whatever, I'll get throw them in my room, I'd throw them in his room, or like it's just kind of like what we do. Like I don't know. It's like Augie's house is like super ratchet. It's like so I'm from Tom's River, and Tom's River is like considered Central Jersey, and then a couple exits up, it gets to be like South Jersey, and like we live in Lacey Township, and Lacey Township's like opens up a bit more to like the suburbs where like you can have like a bigger ramp in your yard, you can play with fireworks. It's not as big, you know what I mean? It's not as big of an issue and stuff. So that was Augie's, I believe it was his uncle's house.
Nice.
And they were super chill, like, you know, as long as if we broke anything, we'd pay for it and stuff. Like, do whatever you want. You guys are paying the rent for it.
That's real. I like that.
Yeah.
You want to put fireworks in your room? Fuck it. You're paying rent.
I mean, he let us build a bowl in the garage.
That's dope.
Yeah, like we had this like, you know, just picture an 8-foot garage, very small. We had a little 4-foot tranny bowl with vert walls all the way up to the ceiling, and like the only way you can get in is you had to duck through a little hole.
Sick.
Like pretty much bowled out as humanly as much as possible.
Yeah, that's dope.
Oh, yeah. What do you like? Had a good old BMX house.
That makes me wonder, do you like digging trails or building ramps, or out of those two? When's the last time you dug?
I guess these days, it's been a minute. I used to go dig sometimes with the dudes at Area 51. That was like John Jennings trails.
Where's that?
It's in Beechwood, New Jersey, or Bayville. And it's just a little bit south. It's kind of like the midpoint between Tom's River and Lacey, where I wound up living with Augie.
Yeah.
And, I used to go help out there. And then going back, I had my own trails across the street from my house. I had a spot for a while.
Nice.
But I think woodworking for sure.
Yeah, because that's what you got in the backyard, which I do want to talk about once we get back to present day, which is going to take a minute. Just kidding. How did you meet Augie? So there's two questions about Deadline Homies. Like, how did you meet Augie? And then how did you meet Colin? Because I remember Colin when the first footage I saw of him, and I was like, who the fuck is this? You know, like, how did you guys link up? Yeah.
So I met Augie first. I met him through a mutual friend, my buddy Keith McLaughlin. Longtime rider. He was the older homie. He would always drive us around. Augie was, I guess, messing around a little bit too much in Staten Island. So his grandma sent him to South Jersey, where life's a little slower and, you know, there's less things he can get in trouble with. So he wound up going to high school with my buddy Keith, who I rode with pretty much every day, which is how we all became friends.
Nice. Was he riding in Staten Island before he came?
Oh, yeah. Augie was already like a gun. Like Augie came into our little crew and was like, he was the one. It was like the chosen one. Like he could like flip whip and like front flip and like he could hang the rails. He can do everything.
So
he's like the ultimate badass. And then Colin, I wound up actually meeting at the Incline Club skate park.
Huh.
And I can clearly remember had these super steep up ledges. And I was trying to do Smith hard whips at the time, which Corey Martinez kind of just like broke out. And then I remember Colin coming up behind me and trying one. And I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this kid? And then we started shooting the shit, and he was cool as fuck. And I was like, that's kind of how we became friends. And then he was like, I would say I met Colin when I was a bit older. I was maybe 17 or 18. And his main group of friends was kind of fizzing out in Hamilton, New Jersey. It's right by Trenton. So he started coming down my way to ride, and I already had like ramps in my house and stuff. And like I had a new zone and he had a new zone. So we'd kind of just trade off. Like I'd go ride Princeton with him, and then I would show him like OCC and Tom's River spots and stuff and ride my ramp.
Sick. Yeah, so you guys go way back. This is
Yeah,
like
yeah. All of us do.
that's so dope. I
Yeah.
like for I don't know, for some reason with Colin, I thought like he was just I don't know why I thought he was from like one of the Carolinas, and like you put him on Fiend and that was the beginning of Colin, which is so stupid, but that's like the illusion that I had in my head of just like, okay, who's this Colin guy? That's fire though.
Yeah. No, the only reason you would probably think that is because like when we all moved out to California, Colin went to college.
Ah, where do you go to college?
So forget somewhere's right by his house, but he went he's like I guess it's like to be a gym teacher.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. I heard something about like Colin
Yeah, it's like all like fitness stuff.
considering being a teacher or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he even out here, like I think till recently with the Adidas thing and all that shit, like he was
Yeah.
doing sub teaching. So like all of us were like, hell yeah, like dude, he's been so good for years. I remember telling Dennis, like even when we were filming like the Nike video, like dude, my buddy Colin he's ridiculous. Like he can do everything.
Yeah.
And it's like
So good.
yeah, he's so good. It was cool to see him like him and Brad. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? People that kind of been strung along by the BMX industry finally get that like big
That
endorsement.
breath of
for, like,
relief. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
boosting
okay,
their
cool.
life up a little bit.
Yeah,
Like Colin
yeah.
doesn't have to substitute teach in the schools he's riding on the weekends. It's
Yeah.
hectic if you get like a police report or something, you know?
For real.
Like that's got to be stressful.
That is stressful. All right. 1, 2, skip a few. Deadline's done. Man, when did deadline finish? 2013, 14?
It's 13. Yeah.
13. That was a good year. That's a damn good year.
Yeah.
What's
Kind of like the end of the DVD chapters in BMX. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that came out that year. Like Talk is Cheap came out that year.
Yep.
I think a couple other like big releases, but just all blends together.
Mediocre at Best might have come out the next year. You know,
there you go. That's a good one.
That's a good one. You know,
that's a good one.
What other videos came out? The Michigan video was like a year after that. That was a good one.
Was a good one. I love that one.
What's your favorite video? Like I actually wrote down here. What do you watch to get stoked?
So I think for me, there's a lot of videos I value, but like the three that I hold sacred would be like Criminal Mischief, Square One, Wide Awake Nightmare, and then the original Demolition video.
Nice. So it's from your formative years. You know, it's not like the later stuff.
No, and I mean, I love like Talk is Cheap's one of my favorite videos, and there's a bunch of videos I really like and stuff, but like those videos kind of bring you back to a time and place where everything was just so pure.
Yeah.
And like something I love about that, but also too, like some of the shit in there is still like to this day is crazy.
Big time.
Which is cool. It's cool to see. But yeah, it's just nostalgia for me.
Who sticks out in Square One to you?
Dude, I loved obviously I loved Corey Martinez. Like he was kind of like the first BMXer I saw like riding like JB little stairs and stuff, which we had around Tom's River. So I was like, oh dude, like I want to try that. And then I was a huge Mike Aiken fan, as everyone was.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, he's just like the ultimate badass. And then I don't know, I really liked Wiz's part. Wiz's part to me was like always like his like the coolest insight to like the dream places I want to ride. Like he rode like pools, he rode the Lubbock College with the pockets, the revert walls, and he rode like cool street spots and like like he just rode everything, but he was just like so ahead of his time with the tech stuff.
I love it. Yeah, dude, it's interesting because like the shit that I watched when I was 16, I would still say is my favorite. You know, like Can I Eat voices, the younger. I mean, that's my generation. Criminal Mischief was ahead of my time. Like that's the video that I like after, you know, a bunch of time riding BMX, people are like, you got to go watch these videos. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do got to go do my research, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing is too, with that kind of stuff, if you miss your time, then it doesn't really resonate. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like I'll show our younger dudes and shit, and I'll be like, oh, like what did you grow up? And I'll be like, oh, have you guys ever seen Left Right? That's another video I love that video.
Yeah.
I'll be like, they'll be like, oh yeah, like the backwards grind up the rail was crazy, but like,
Yeah.
I don't really get the rest of it. I'm like, yeah, because like BMX has progressed so much since then. But
For
like
real.
at this time, like this was crazy. Like I
Yes.
just remember seeing this video and being like, I've never heard of Rob Wise, but Rob Wise is the new Van Homan.
Yeah, Rob Wise is fucking sick, dude. I love Rob.
Yeah. One of the best of all time for sure.
For real. Should we try and keep going along your career?
Yeah, I'm trying my best. So like,
me too.
Each
man.
thing pulls me into stories,
yeah.
So,
which is good. Who gives a shit? We can talk about whatever.
I'm sorry if I jump around.
I'm sorry if I jump around too. This is a professional podcast, Garrett. Let's get it together.
I know this is really serious.
What? We're in San Diego. It's 10 years ago. You started Fiend. When does X Games Real Street? What I mean, always fiending. God damn.
I'm like, dude, which way you want to go?
How many gold medals do you have?
I don't know.
There's
Depends on the
day. I talked to a couple friends like that don't ride BMX, and I was like, check out the guy I'm talking to today, and I sent them your Red Bull 3-minute BMX insane part or whatever that's got over 1 million views, and they're like, so many bar twitchies, and I'm like, yeah. He's pretty good, That's a damn good part.
Thing, dude. Yeah.
That's my thing.
I mean, it would be cool to be able to like tail open the rails and stuff too. That's a little bit harder.
Sheesh. Yeah, you can do it in video games and pipe or whatever.
It's doable.
Have you? Yeah, you've done some pegs or whip to pegs in your shit. I've seen it.
Yeah. Sure.
Dude. Here's a question. What is a trick that you wish you were better at?
It would be sick to be more like better at like crank arming rails.
Crank arms.
Yeah, like I can crank arm rails and stuff, but like, and I've done some longer ones, but it's never like easy for me.
Yeah, like Ethan Corriere type crank arm.
Like he makes it look fun, and I'm like, when I get in a good crank arm, I see that like the balance point is really centered in the middle of your bike.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you can lock it really far, but it's just so hard to get there.
Yeah. I did one in my whole life that was like this long, and I'll never forget it. It was the best feeling ever. I was like, holy shit, this grind is crazy. Yeah. Didn't you do switch bar to over crank arm in Barcelona?
No.
Just regular bar?
Yeah, regular bar over crank arm in Barcelona.
That shit's weak, dude. Just kidding.
I know. Maybe I'll be better next year, maybe. But no, I've always thought the switch bar would work better since you're kicking to your switch side.
Yeah, it's like an opposite spin almost.
Like rather than going against the grain of your spin, but I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
I've tried it. It's not easier.
Better luck next year.
Better luck next year, dude.
Yeah, I guess let's talk about X Games, the real BMX. Stu corrected me. I called it Real Street, but it's Real BMX.
Yeah, Real BMX.
Did that start in 2016? Was that the first year?
Yeah, that was the first year.
You were in it, right?
Yeah, I was in it. That was like a fun project to work on. It's like really serious though. Like 90 seconds isn't a lot of time. So the clips that you are going to use for it have to be pretty high quality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, it's a weird project. Like when you film for other projects, you're like, can film stuff and maybe it goes into like the intro or the outro or whatever. I was like, this is pretty cut and dry, like all killer, no filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, good clips. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's really cool that they decided to do that because I feel like that stuff's more interesting to the general public to me than like just like a street contest.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like street
especially a plaza.
Yeah, it's all tries.
Yeah.
Like no one's really good enough that they can like do 45 seconds of like, stuff that would be like eye-opening.
Right.
But if you give them 6 months, they can come through with 45 seconds of stuff that would like the general public would get, well, that was nuts. Like,
yep.
At least, at least I think.
Which is so interesting to think about. Like you're doing stuff that the general public is going to see. And I'd say you're doing a damn good job. You and Dennis both, I think, are like the ideal representatives of like BMX street to show my mom, You know, like
Yeah.
this is what BMX Street is, which is
that's what we're here for.
yeah, show my mom.
Hopefully she likes our ratting.
Oh, she loves you guys. You know, big fan, mama. And then did you win? I think you got gold.
Yeah, I think so.
No. How many do you have? Did you answer that?
So it's weird. I have 15 X Games gold medals.
That is weird. How does that feel?
I don't know. Seems like it'd be hard to do.
Yeah.
When I think about it, I'm like, damn, that's like a lot of contests you'd have to win to get those.
For real. That's at least 15, you know?
Yeah. But it's weird. I have even more, but like some of them don't count.
What do you mean?
So like X Games at 1 year, I think was franchised out, and they had like X Games competitions that don't qualify as X Games competitions.
What? Weird.
Yeah, like there's like I think like 2 years I won in China or something. Huh. And it was like X Games, Kia Games, and X Games, some other sponsor or something.
Yeah.
And it's like those aren't technically X Games competitions or whatever.
Damn. So that all this talk about you chasing this record, you already got it.
Essentially, yes, but essentially no.
Technically no, but essentially yes.
I really don't care about that shit. I'll just say the one thing that's like weird for me is like it's like nonstop like pressure. Like
yeah.
One more run. Can you do it? Going for history. I'm like, dude, I'm just like trying to do a Manny switch whip. Like
yeah. Can I just 5-bar this 4-block real quick?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so hilarious that a 540 bar down that set is a bronze. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Like, I mean, I think that's sick, dude. Like,
yeah.
Like,
the level of riding was awesome. That shit was like a fever dream.
Yeah. I think too, like real. I think it made BMX look really cool. I know a lot of people look at our hobby as dangerous and crazy and kooky.
Yeah.
And it's like to see the high end of it and like everyone walked away and put down some pretty heavy tricks was like shows that it's maybe more controlled and professional than people think.
Big time.
Yeah.
I think you're right about people's perception of like, oh, you ride BMX, okay. And then they have this whole visual.
I'm spot on. And it's partially due to the way the industry is marketed, I believe, because it's like as a bike company owner, like the core demographic of BMXers is probably the margin of money that's the most is made between 12 and 15 years old.
Yeah.
So you're marketing to such a weird audience for a grown man to look into.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, dude, what is this?
Yeah. It really is weird.
Yeah. And then there's like sides of it that like, you know, like the companies we like, and they're like, that's like so underground and hidden that it's like, doesn't even really exist.
Yeah. It's like, hey, so what are you doing? You're 33 and you still do stunts on a little kid's bike? Cool, you know?
Oh, yeah. I have people in my family that are like, when are you going to stop doing that? I'm like, yeah. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is like the best. Like, there's nothing that gives you this feeling. Like, when I'm done with it, it would be really hard to find something that will make me feel like that way.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, wouldn't you just rather do carpentry? Like, no.
No. Thank you very much, but no. No, thank you.
I think going to Paris and filming sounds way cooler.
Yeah, fucking A. Do a Feeble Oppo 5. Feeble Oppo truck. And I just watched that one too. You're like, well, no, there's the Fiend / Federal in Lyon, right? That shit was cool. But then I just rewatched the one where you like won the pro video part contest. FICE? Is it FICE?
Oh, yeah.
It's one where you did inward 180 bar to Smith to cab, opposite bar to Manny to 180, which is just even saying that out loud and trying to feel it out is hilarious. That's a hell of a stunt there, Garrett. I'll tell you what.
Thank you. Yeah, I like those tricks. You know, I like the ones that make you think.
Yeah, that's a thinker.
Yeah, I feel like when I was younger, I was like the general entry level street rider, where it's like if it was bigger, it was cooler. And it's like the most generic way to look at this shit. And I remember like reading an interview with someone in, I think it was Thrasher. And they were like, yeah, you know, like anyone could just huck it down some shit and get lucky. But like to do the tricks I do is, you know, it's like takes skill and control. And it's like, I'm not trying to get killed. And I remember like reading that. I like, literally felt attacked. I was like, oh shit. Like, I guess I kind of do just try to jump off. And it's funny that I read this interview and it kind of changed like a lot of the ways I looked at riding.
I mean, and you can kind of see that in your
Yeah.
later stuff it just keeps getting better, dude. When are you gonna stop improving, huh?
Never.
That's what's up. My
No,
dad
I
used to
don't know.
say, "He who stops getting better ceases to be good." And then
Yeah, that's true.
you're taking that advice, which is fire. I
Yeah.
did not take
I
that
mean,
advice.
I just love riding. It's just
Yeah,
like literally my passion. And it's like, sure, there will be a day when my body will be like harder for me to do things, but I've been adjusting to how my body feels in riding style for years. Like when I have a bad ankle, we're going tech.
hell
When
yeah.
I have a good ankle, we're going big. I don't know. You just work with what you have.
That's what's up. Uh, what's the last big thing you did? You can't say because
Um,
it's in the video that's coming out.
no, I trucked like a pretty savage size set. It's the biggest one I've ever done, maybe like 2 months ago.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, like I'm not scared of big stuff. And right now I've been working with some physical therapists.
Yeah.
So I've had like hella sprains, which has a couple of my ligaments stretched too far in specific ways. So I'm working with them to heal that. And I've had carpal tunnel for like 3 years.
Huh.
And so I have all these injuries and they're helping me heal them. And it's like crazy. My body's like re-getting strong. And it's been really cool.
That's super cool. What is
Yeah.
what kind of shit do you do on a day to day, like physical therapy wise, or what is carpal tunnel?
Basically it's the ligament right here is squeezed so hard that it cuts the blood circulation off.
Huh.
So
That doesn't
like,
sound good. Then you
no,
get
it's
numb.
horrible. Your fingers fall asleep and stuff.
Oof.
So I do like all kinds of stretching. And for someone like me, it can come from your neck, your back, your shoulder. So when I go and work with my physical therapist, they kind of like we just go through everything. We just go in
Nice.
there on it, and they're really good. Shout out to the physical therapy effect. My physical therapist, Mark and Sarah, they're
Cool.
always helping me really heal. And like I think when I first came in there, they were like I don't know, like 32, like 30, like turning 33, like you sure you want to blah blah blah. And then like within a week, I was like, oh look, I'm getting signs of this being better and better, and they're like super psyched now. Like, oh, this
Hell
is
yeah.
sick. Like I treat my body like a science project.
As you should. Fucking
Yeah,
A.
just like always trying to figure out ways to get things to work better and stay healthier.
What's the
But
latest
yeah,
thing you figured out?
um, latest thing I'd say I figured out is that trigger pointing is better with the lacrosse ball.
Trigger pointing's better with a lacrosse ball versus
Yeah,
what?
because you can
A
use it.
baseball?
Like yeah, no, just like a trigger, like a classic trigger pointing tool, which they
Yeah.
usually come on either bands with like basically like knotted plastic things, or you can get kind of looks like a crab claw and it has like a ball on it. It has like three hard pieces, and what you do is you go through the muscles, and it helps you get knots out of your muscles.
Yeah.
So you like kind of warm the muscle up, and you'll find a spot that's really tender where the knots and adhesions are, and you'll literally like go through and do ankle exercises like ABCs or circles and up down stuff like that, and it like breaks all the tissue back up and lengthens everything back out.
Huh. Dope. And you
So
just
I'm
figured out
like,
it's better with a lacrosse ball.
yeah, because I'm always just like kind of like fiddling, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like that's like the one thing tech riding will do to you is it'll definitely like tighten you up. You
Yeah,
really
because you're
battle
just
like a
repeating the spinning. I can like feel my body, the
repetition,
spins. Yeah.
awkward lands, landing sideways and like jarring your just like all kinds of stuff, you know, falls on your hips, whatever.
Yeah. Nothing real natural about the shit that we do on BMX bikes. I
No,
mean,
no. And then especially like with the ankles too, I always explain to my physical therapist, like imagine trying to take an 8 foot drop and then landing on a surface that goes up and down. It's
yeah,
like
for
it's
real.
not like you're jumping to flat ground. So that's why my ligaments, my ankles are stretched out both ways. And
Makes sense. Dude, even when you land shit, it hurts and it can
yeah,
ruin your
yeah.
ankles, you know?
If you don't land in the right spot, for sure, it's all about being in the right spot.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I guess at this point you got to, you know? What about like diet and hydration
Yeah,
and drinking,
yeah.
all that shit?
I mean, I eat pretty damn healthy for the most part, and I have for like multiple years now. Like really, just really healthy smoothies, lots of avocados, lots of eggs, lots of bananas, lots of like I love salmon, tuna, lots of
That's bomb.
brown rice, still love, like obviously I like love my cheap foods too. Like I love pasta and pizza.
Dude,
Being
yeah.
from the East Coast, who doesn't? I love
Yeah.
donuts because I'm like a big coffee guy. So like a nice like bitter cold brew with a sweet donut is like
Oof.
can't beat it. But yeah, most days super healthy smoothies and you know eggs and just high protein diet and that kind of stuff.
How often are you drinking alcohol, if at all?
Every single day.
I have a pint of vodka to wake up just to get level off.
I mean, these days, even if I do drink, I pretty much casually drink, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe once a week, something like that.
Yeah. That's the way to
Super,
go, dude.
super chilling these days. I feel so much better when like I'm not drinking and like taking care of myself and just everything's easy. And I think someone said this, like it's really fun to be completely out of your mind and like fuck everything and just be like so anarchy. But then there's like something also really special about just having your shit together and like never struggling.
It's a dude. It takes a while to figure that out, but yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
You're like, how has life been this easy this whole
Yeah.
time?
Fuck, I should have got my shit together way earlier, dude.
Yeah.
I
Nah,
I
perfect
just,
timing.
I just had some drinks on that San Diego trip, and then when I came back, I could feel the inflammation of my whole body. I was just like swollen. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it takes
I've
it out of you.
I've said if I like actually ever go out and have like a big night with the boys that I can regain injuries. Like I could be like, my foot's getting better. And then if I did that, I'd be like, my foot kind of hurts again.
Yeah,
What I
I
do?
just
Did I hurt it? Did I like jump off a roof or something last night? What I do?
no,
Oh
you
no,
just
it's
drank poison.
inflammation.
All right, Jesus, Garrett, you shared this, and now we got too many questions for you to answer. Um, how much time do we have with you? When do you have to go?
I mean, I'm open for like literally as long as you guys want.
Nice. Well, you wanna answer some friend
Sure.
questions? Let's see.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, let's do
Try to
it.
fill in whatever I can.
We'll come in. Well, first, let's talk about Chandler Golden. Did you listen? You guys, you know his story and shit. What are your thoughts on Chandler? He did.
Dude,
He did ask
he's
a
a
question.
he's a funny ass dude. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
kicking it with us when we were out here, and he's just like he reminds me a lot of Colin when he was like younger. Like he's super ADHD and like dialed it right. Like, yo, I'm gonna do this. Watch this. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was in jail,
Yeah.
you're just like, what the fuck?
Dude, I love him. He's so unabashedly himself, which is like
Yeah,
something that
I've
you something to
always
it.
I've always really enjoyed people that are like, I think just because I'm so mellow, like Augie's like that, just in a completely different way.
Just
And like he's just interesting. Just
yeah,
like
exactly. That's what it
he's
is.
not your
Interesting.
average dude, and most BMXers are, but like that dude's definitely like his own person. He's not ashamed of it. He's not embarrassed by it, and there's like something so cool about that. Like
Yeah.
just like
It's like
this is the fuck
liberating to be
I am. I
around
don't care.
almost.
Yeah.
I love that. Let's see. White Mike says, "Will the world ever see your incredible no-footed cans?" LOL. Do you have incredible no-footed cans? What does this
Uh,
mean?
I don't know about incredible, but I can do them.
I thought maybe it was an inside joke or something.
No,
Chandler
I can
Golden.
do 'em.
Chandler Golden says, "What is one of your biggest goals you've accomplished in BMX?" I like that.
I think I don't know. I don't know if I have a biggest goal per se, but I think like the highest honor I've ever received for like being a BMXer was I did a Make a Wish.
Nice.
So
What?
like
Tell me about
yeah,
that.
that was like super like just hectic in general, you know what I mean? Like I've never dealt with something like that. But yeah, there was a kid who was he was sick and he loved BMX and he wanted to meet me and I think he's from the Midwest. His parents came out with him and stuff and we took him around riding and
Damn,
like
dude.
when you do a make a wish, like usually it's like not so low end like me. So like you usually get like an hour with the person or whatever. So we
Yeah.
like went to the skate park and we were with the kid and we're riding with them and like trying to hang out with them and just make them feel like part of the crew. And they're like, all right, well you're done. And I'm like, we're like the make a wish. I'm like, you guys are welcome to leave, but he's like, welcome to like hang out with us, like that's just what we do.
Hell
So
yeah.
we took him around all weekend and stuff and like
The Make a
kind
Wish
of
is
integrated him to the crew. We brought him to my house. had a little party with him. Like we just really like tried our best, like every one of us, to like make the kid feel super special and stuff.
What was his name?
Cody.
Cody.
I had to think Cody. It's been quite a few years. Yeah, rest in peace, dude. Super good kid. Parents super good people. Just unfortunate situation, man. Just to get a shit hand of cards.
Yeah. What was his situation?
He had some really, really, if I remember correctly, it was like a really rare version of Crohn's disease that is like way more lethal.
Damn.
Like his body was essentially always trying to kill itself.
Dude.
Like it's like the statistic of him getting it, because he was kind of open to talking about it, and he was telling us, he was like, the statistic of him getting it was like seriously like microscopic.
Yikes.
Like it was just like, oh man.
How old was he?
So I believe he was like 17 when he came to hang out with us, and I would say he like, I forget what his lifespan was, but his lifespan was like under 23 or something.
Word.
It's like it's got to be so hard to deal with, and just even for his parents.
That's heavy, dude. Like
kind of like why we were like, I'm sure his parents are going through a lot. I'm like, yo, if you want to, he seems like he wants to kick it with us. If you guys want to go like enjoy the beaches and stuff, I can just come pick him up, and you can come out filming with us for the day, and we'll go to a skate park and like,
damn,
try to do whatever, because dude, that's just got to be so hard. I think like I'll bring it back to my dad passing. My dad died of a massive heart attack, and it was quite abrupt, but I think it's a lot easier, and it's never easy to lose anyone, but it's a lot harder if you're like on a timeline and you're like questioning every day, and it's kind of like, it's coming to an end. I feel like that's just really, really difficult on people. Would be for me.
Yeah, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off, or like slowly knowing that it's gonna end. Like, the dread of just, dude. That's heavy, man. That made me emotional just thinking about that. Yeah, rest in peace, Cody. Okay. I mean, that's a vague one, but shout out Florentino Hernandez. He says, favorite memory story from Jersey.
My favorite memory story from Jersey, probably just like being just like, I don't know, just kind of like terrorizing my area.
Hell yeah.
Like, me and my friends were like, I'm a really good dude now, but when I was a kid, I was just like, we were all just little shits. Like when I could like remember like snowballing cars,
just terrorizing,
like, throwing bottles of water at people, and like just like stuff that like would not fly these days. Just like, I don't know, it's just like, but it wasn't only us doing it. It was that CKY influence on like our area, like the tri-state area got hit with that heavy, like, and like, I don't know, just how free everything was back in like those younger years of my life. Like I said, like going and staying at my homie Corey's house, where like my house was a little bit more locked down, and his house was super wide open, and like his parents were like just super loose to let the kids do whatever they want. I can just remember like me and him leaving his house at like 1:30 in the morning when I'm like 12 to go ride downtown Tom's River, and just being like,
damn,
this is the thickest thing ever. Like,
it
felt like we were on our own little road fulls. Like, we ride this late, dude.
Yeah. Dude, that's bomb. Man, I wish I had a friend that I could go to their parents' house back in the day and go ride it. It was so funny working through like the having parents and curfews, but riding and staying out till 11 was like a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. Sasito says, advice for kids that are really trying to bring back the video part / full length side of BMX.
Trying to think of a good way to put it, but like, just save your footage. You can always cut it up and drop it off into social media.
Yeah.
It's like, you make a bigger splash if you make something that's like memorized, like,
yep.
And it's hard to do it right off the beginning, but like Van Homan's criminal mischief part would have never been anything if it was just broke up into 30 posts out 2 years.
Yeah, for real.
It's since it lives and it's like a thing, it will always be easy to be tracked. Where like, I don't think you can post the coolest stuff on Instagram, but like maybe make a compilation. I don't know. It's like it's easily tracked. Be like, dude, I think you posted it like between these years, and like, I don't know, like have fun with it. Like I think the beauty of making videos to me was always just like kind of seeing like a glimpse into a scene where you can see what people are like and how they navigate, and like, it's just always people having fun with their friends, and like it's all about pushing yourself just a little bit to get that dopamine drip. Just like, oh, so good. And like, every time one of your friends does that, it's kind of how you keep them in riding.
For real.
Makes them feel like it gives them that little rush.
Yep. And then once the project's done, you get to bring everybody together in person and premiere it versus like putting it out on your phone. I think like the instant gratification of Instagram versus the delayed gratification, you obviously understand delayed gratification, and it's the shit.
There's a lot of cool things that can be used outside of BMX that you will learn from making a video project. So it's very valuable.
Yeah, big facts. Dude, it shaped my entire life.
Fucking, I'm sure your skills translate into all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's great. He also asks, have you incorporated psychology with BMX trick progression, spot use, or career? That's interesting.
I don't think so. I do I guess the closest thing I do is like I meditate.
Nice. I just started doing that a couple months ago. How long have you been doing that?
Off and on, like a year.
Nice. How'd you start? Are you doing guided meditation or something?
Yeah, I was doing guided meditation and the Wim Hof breathing techniques.
Nice. What is the Wim Hof like breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth?
Yeah, and it's basically just like getting your body full of oxygen and then just holding your breath for a bit, and then you can just feel the blood pumping. It just essentially helps your blood pump and like
kind of start feeling tingly. Is that a thing?
Yeah, but it makes you like kind of just present.
Yeah.
Like when you're breathing, you feel like you're doing something, but then when you're still, you realize you can hold your breath forever, and it helps get all your blood pumping at such a high level, and you like just feel super calm. Kind of helps. Like I have ADD, and like just my mind it's always thinking about multiple things. I'm sure you can see that even with this podcast. It just kind of helps calm that down, but also like it's just really good for everyday life just to be present.
Yeah, like I've noticed a big difference in like I'll be going throughout my day and then I'm just like very present in whatever moment I'm in because of the meditation that I did in the morning, where it's like all there is now, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. You gotta live in the moment. And then if you get further into it, you start to learn how to body scan.
Yeah. Which
is like body scanning for me was kind of helping me understand what parts of my body I needed to work on to help heal things.
Hell yeah.
But, like, usually I couldn't feel it. I'm pretty numb to, I guess, the pain. I guess I was just used to it.
Because you're just not in tune. I mean, it's weird that we like have to sit down and like consciously think about our body in order to like, understand what's going on, which is powerful shit, dude. I love that. I'm stoked you're meditating.
And the importance of breathing, which we just kind of forget sometimes.
Yeah. We take it for granted that we're just doing it on autopilot all day. But when you sit and like think about your breathing for however long, 5-10 minutes, it changes shit. Dylan Ashlock asks, is Deadline 2 a real thing?
Decade.
In a decade?
Nah, we made a joke when we dropped it, that we'd drop it in a decade, which would have been last year.
Oh shit, it's already been a decade.
I don't think it would. It would be cool. But yeah, I think at this point of like all my homies' careers and shit, like their time's better spent staying in touch with the sponsors who are paying them rather than some homies video.
Yeah.
And like everyone's a bit older. I think I'm probably the loosest one with my like schedule and stuff, where I'm always down for whatever, but a lot of people are grown up and they don't want to be out every night filming anymore. They want to handle their business when they handle it and do it for like the companies they work for rather than just like some homie shit.
Filming a full length, it's no easy task. So
especially leading up to something like that, where the last thing you'd ever want to do is create a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot to live up to. So I think our guys would be smart enough to know that like you signed up for it, you better really want to do it.
Yeah, for real. Shit. He also asks, favorite BMX meme account. Do you follow any meme accounts?
Dude, I love Rodeo Peanut.
Yeah, man.
Like I know they don't really post anymore, but like, dude, I'm a huge comedy fan, and their shit is so good. Like, or just like all the double dipping and just funny humor. I don't know, I love it.
I love it too, man. So who's your favorite comedian? Outside of BMX, obviously.
I would say probably Bill Burr with Tom Segura.
Yes, dude. Those are goats.
Two of my favorites, but I love Chappelle. I don't know, I love so many of them.
What about Shane Gillis? You like Shane Gillis? Have you listened to him?
I'm not really familiar with him. I'm gonna have to check him out.
Yeah, I'll send him. I'll send you some shit. He's so good, dude. All right.
I got to see Theo Vaughn recently. That was awesome.
Nice in person, obviously.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Shout out to the homie Ian that works at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood. It's Calvin's homie. We were just out there one day filming. He was like, "You want to go see Theo Vaughn and Craig Robinson?" I was like, "Where do we get the tickets?"
Yeah,
like, "My homie works there. He'll just pull up the red carpet for you." Sick as fuck.
That's awesome. Yeah, Theo Vaughn's brain is talk about ADHD or just on some other shit, man.
Dude, yeah, he's funny.
Sorry, Trip. Damn. BMX Kids 99 says, "Bring back the zebra bandana and the 2-color hair."
I might have to.
Might.
20-year anniversary.
Yeah, dude, you could do it as a Halloween costume. Just like be Garrett from 20 years ago. That would be funny.
It's funny too because I see like the two-tone hair thing like kind of like in the hip hop scene now.
Yeah, it's coming back. It's
wild.
Like,
it's so funny because I remember like just doing that because I was just out of my mind little kid that just wanted to be different than everyone and just loved punk rock and like anti-establishment. Like now it's like kind of like mainstream hip hop, like being different kind of to market yourself.
Yeah, for real. It's like it's gone full circle. Going anarchy just became like the norm now. And so
yeah, for sure.
It's like more rebellious to like have a traditional relationship and raise a family and be responsible and shit.
Yeah. He's going against the grain. That guy's crazy.
Yeah. Dude. He pays his bills and raises his child. That's crazy. FMF 40 FMF what the ORY6. Will you ever put back a cassette on?
No way.
Why
not? You're riding, and then I feel like manual tricks, you don't even have to really do them right, dude. Like, I don't know. Manual tricks are so much more impressive with a coaster to me. It's like, that's why you got to appreciate someone like Devin Smiley and like how he's mastered it within a niche, which is like, I think there's the cassette guys that are cool too. Like Courage uses a cassette to his advantage, just like Devin uses the coaster to his advantage. But yeah, no, like there's a coaster hasn't changed my life at all.
Yeah.
It's only a one-sided thing. It's always a plus. So why would I go back to a negative? Like less options is always more boring.
Yeah. Well, I'm on your side with the free coaster. Let's see. What happened to CBD-MD? Mario FBK says.
CBMD, I'm not really fully sure. I think the pandemic hit them pretty hard. And like I think one of those companies they blew up, got super big, so they started spending a lot of money in action sports. And I know they sponsor like a bunch of dope like action sport athletes like Chris Cole and like motocrossers and everyone pretty much got let go because I think their market got so competitive and oversaturated overnight because it was so lucrative for a small period of time. Everyone else jumped in on like more of a competitive thing, and like it kind of sucks for them because they were like all tested by doctors and stuff and like doing all this gnarly research where I don't think like most of those companies are.
Yeah.
But they're competing at a lower price. So yeah,
that was like a new gold rush was the CBD industry coming out. Like
I mean, dude, I know homies that were talking about starting a company and like I know other companies hit me up about paying me to ride for them. Like there's gotta be so much money in it, but it just 180'd real quick.
Yeah, they gone. I haven't thought about that since, like, damn, I haven't even heard CBD-MD in a while.
Yeah, it was cool. They gave me some free money for some years, and their stuff actually works really well.
What do you use? Do you take it or do the roll on?
No, I would use I think their best thing they had was the anti-inflammatory formula, which is like I forget what it is. It's like your body heals at like 30 to 40% faster with all the THC shit in there, and it's like I don't know, it definitely works.
I like the sound of that.
Like I can literally feel it like help relax my muscles and like relax areas and like flush inflammation out and stuff.
It's the real deal, dude. I can't believe this shit was so illegal for forever, but in our lifetime, weed and CBD went from being like fully you're going to jail to everybody's doing it and it's completely normal. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. They'd rather you mask your pain with bad things than actually heal.
keep you sick, make more money.
There's a lot more money in you getting sick than being healthy.
Big time, dude. That's real. Rolly Flash, we answered this one. Who wins in a game of bike? You or Dennis Anderson? It depends on the spot. Depends
on the spot, but I don't know. It depends on the day, the park. Dennis probably win most times though.
Dennis is pretty damn good. I'll give him
pretty
that
good
much.
At riding.
Pretty good.
I don't know. Maybe I'll play him on his YouTube channel.
Fuck yeah, dude! His YouTube is awesome. It's been he's been doing it. All right, Steven Bikes. He's from out here. He says, "Oh, BRB."
Yeah.
Oh shit! See, now you're sideways. What happened? How do we fix that?
Let me see.
How'd you do that? There it is.
Boom. I was like, it's just my phone's confused.
I thought your phone died for sure, but
no.
That's cool. We still got some juice.
I got the charger and stuff right here.
Oh hell yeah, official.
Yeah, I try to be semi-prepared, you know.
Yeah, semi. That's me. For the last hour cramming for this podcast, like looking at old shit. I tried to find you doing another podcast, but is this your first one?
No, I did one with Dennis.
Oh yeah, but that's not on YouTube. That's on podcast. Okay.
Yeah. And it would have been sicker to do this in real life.
Yeah, it would have.
I wanted to actually, I was out there, I tore my plantar in my foot.
No shit.
The day after you came and kicked it with us.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm being laid up.
Yeah.
I was in pain. It hurt.
That sucks. Well, maybe, I don't know. Because I was thinking about that too. I want to come out to San Diego and do it properly. So maybe we'll do another one sometime.
Yeah. I want to say we can try to write a timeline down, maybe keep us on track a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to say it's hard because like even when I'm answering it, I'm trying to think of the time. And then I was like, oh shit, I just entered like talking about being pro. Should I like talk about that? And then that sides into that.
That's part of podcasting is just like you're going on this ride and you just got to fucking ride.
Yeah, you just take it wherever it takes you.
Yeah, exactly. And also, who cares? But this question I like. Steven Bikes is from out here. He says, how do you stay humble when you're constantly bombarded by people telling you you're the GOAT? Do people constantly tell you to your face that you're the GOAT, or are they just talking about you behind your back?
No, I get a lot of people that are like insane. Like they're like almost insane on how much they support my riding and like my ability. It's like kind of almost gives me power because I'm like, dude, I'm not like that good. And I'm like, I guess the way I stay humble is like, I don't know. I know what it is. Like I'm a dude that's good at riding kids bikes. Like it's in the grand scheme of shit. It ain't nothing. Like,
that's real.
And like even when I was a kid, like going to Scotty's parks, like there were dudes that would pop up that were like pro and they had the ego. And I remember being like 13 and being like, this dude's a fucking clown. Like
that's real. Like, get over yourself.
I don't know. I learned how to navigate myself. I'd say mostly. I remember me and my buddy Corey, the one I've been talking about the whole time. We went to John Jennings Trails, and like we were super nervous to go back there as kids because it's like a hardcore trail scene,
Yeah.
And we went back there, and like these dudes are like the pros and legends of our area. They were so cool to us, and I just remember being like, it meant so much to us how cool they were, and just like. Oh no, I'll never forget Garrett Burns. Like he was like the Dos Equis guy to us. Like he was like in the trails in a hammock eating watermelon with no shoes on, just like, yeah, man, I just came back from like Spain, blah, blah, blah. And he was just so like personal and cool with us. I was like, the coolest person I've ever met. Yeah, that's how you need to be.
Yeah. And that, I mean, if anybody could have an ego, Garrett Burns is so good. He could have been.
He can have an ego for sure, but he's egoless.
Which I'm really happy that you don't have that either. Because like we've never really talked much, but there was like over the years I was like, I wonder what Garrett's like. And then I have heard nothing but nice things, but it's like, if anybody could have an ego, it could be you, but I'm glad you don't.
Not a very egotistic person.
And like ego is a weird word because like you want to have self-confidence and
sure.
But to be basically you're not a douchebag is what
I'm getting at. No, I mean, you have to have self-confidence to do what we do, but it's like you also just want to be like cool.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not, I don't know, you don't think of yourself as like better than anybody else.
No.
So do you consider yourself the GOAT? Just kidding. See.
Yeah. Actually,
yeah. Check out my fucking 15 X Games gold medals, dog. Look
at
these things. I mean,
I was wearing those earlier while I was watching old video parts. On my new video part.
They're not even ready for my new shit. Oh, I'm the best.
Johnny's been training my confidence.
That's what's up, dude. Let's go. Let's stop burning those beans. I love his writing. Favorite street spot of all time? That's a great question. That's a hard question.
I think that one is so difficult. I'm gonna have to go though. The Silverton Rails in Tom's River. This is like pre-skate parks having flat rails in my area. There was 3 perfect flat rails in a row.
Okay.
I had like a clip and deadline, like wired 180 backwards kind of pop out.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know exactly.
But that's like that spot's in my area where I grew up, and it was like super fun, sessionable all the time, and it was like abandoned for years, so no one used that business.
Nice.
So we could just ride it all the time.
That's
like,
ideal.
Yeah, you couldn't beat it.
That's a good choice. I like that.
That or Tom's River East, the middle school. I've had some footage there, but it was like a skate park kind of. It had like banks. Chase the Heart rides it sometimes now. I see pulls up. But it had like a little bank to wall ride with like a bump jump street gap, and then it had all these ledges with pads, and then there was like a bank you can like jump into and then jump into the street. It's really cool.
Damn. Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's like a super interesting spot.
Hell yeah. Trying to think of mine.
Yeah, what
would yours be? The wedge, dog. Just because the memories at the wedge and all the iconic shit that I've seen there. And I just love balance tricks, so riding the wedge is very fun.
And the shade, you know?
Yeah, definitely need shade.
Shades are really good advantage to like how long you'll stay at a spot.
For real, yeah. Some ditches you're just like roasting in the sun.
Yeah, best spot ever. You're like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Come here for business.
Yeah, you come there for business and that's it. Let's see. Good Grief TJ says, hardest bar variation you've learned, and why is your stash so rad?
I don't know what the hardest bar variation I've learned would be. Probably a bar over crank arm.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty crazy one.
I cannot explain how hard and dangerous that trick is. It's like you're going against the bike, kicking it over in a trick that's gonna put you in the back, but you gotta find the front. There's so much shit going on. It's so intricate, and it's like done hundreds of them, and every one is still hard. It's not like a trick that gets easier for me.
That's a wild one. What's some like? Have you done the park shit where you do a fly out quadruple bar? How many bars have you done in one?
I used to do like triple trucks and stuff when I used to ride park contests and stuff, but I don't know. I was pretty far and few between like the triples. Like I always thought like double to table or double to turn down was tighter.
Yeah,
like
it is tighter.
Like at a point it just gets stale.
Yeah,
but it's like progression. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's no flavor to it, but it's
just button mashing. Like a triple bar spin is just button mashing. Okay, so why is your mustache so rad, Garrett?
I don't know. It's funny that I even have a mustache because I used to make fun of my dad for it. Like I used to call him like fucking, oh look at his dick duster and like fuck with him. And it's like naturally like my facial hair grows so quick. It just like kind of came in, but
it's a good look.
I have a pretty much no upper lip, so it makes my upper lip feel more there.
There we go. Cool. That's why it's so rad.
Yeah, that's why it's rad, dude. It fills my face out.
I'm the best rider, and I got the best fucking mustache, dude. What else do you want to talk about? Ace says, has he ever fucked with top load stems? I personally like front loads as well. This is fun. Yeah. Kids get to have a conversation with you right now.
Yeah. So I do like top loads, and I think there are a lot of advantages with top loads. Like when I ride someone's bike with a top load, I feel like manualing comes so easy. And like, because it's already up there.
Yeah.
So if you just put your weight, it just comes up where like a front load's lower. So you have to actually lift more.
Right.
But then I feel like for me, the lower bike is possible to lift up to higher stuff, especially in the realm of like whipping over stuff or whipping up to stuff to manual.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why I stayed with it the most, but they both definitely have their pros and cons.
I like how the front load looks better than the top load.
Oh, for sure.
But I see what you're saying.
It just looks classic and it looks clean. Kind of hides the headset from the front, which makes the bike look like less mechanical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it makes it look more just naturally clean.
I like that. We touched this. Fool's whack. How do you stay so motivated? Blah, blah, blah. Have you ever taken a break? He said, doesn't seem like you have taken a break. Have you ever taken a break?
Yeah, I definitely take breaks and stuff. And like, I kind of even try to teach our dudes that like, it's the long ride, not the short ride. You know, you don't want to like go on some crazy 2-year run, blow through everything you can do, and then just be like, you know what?
Yeah. And hate
So,
it.
I definitely take my breaks and stuff, but I don't know, just the way I am, like that's my riding kind of keeps my like zen, chill, calmness. And like if I don't get that out, like I start to act more crazy and like more aggressive and like I get angrier easier and stuff. But then I ride and I'm just like,
Ah.
today's a very nice day. I'm very happy to be alive. I'm glad I have drinking water. Or I'm not riding, I'm like, the fuck are you looking at, dude? Like I said medium
Shit.
rare.
Take it back.
Yeah.
Dustin Arp wants to know, when are we going to get this Fiend video? Well, he says Fiend full length video, but
So
is there a
this
Fiend full length video in addition to this new one? Or
yeah, we have 5 videos in the works right now. Not
you lying?
no, we only have 1 video in the works, and we're shooting for like December.
Nice.
So we just went through with Tony, like when Johnny was here and stuff. We went through like timelines and that kind of things, and we're looking pretty good. We need a couple of trips, but I like where we're at, and the way we run things. Like if we want to pull it a little bit back just to make it right, we will do it. But
Yeah.
we'd also like to kind of get it out.
I love that about you guys. You're
Yeah,
not
well, I mean,
not in a hurry.
Yeah, well, I mean, and nowadays we're lucky enough to have social media that we can carry the company through that and like
Right.
make like what we want to make,
Yep.
because it's like it's all about like your artistic creative direction. So it's like it's not ready, Like
Yeah.
BMX parts are not gonna sell so much either way. So we might as well do what we love rather than like, put something out and then look at it for the rest of your life. Like, man, if we just took that 1 extra month.
Yeah. And you don't have a big corporate, bureaucracy putting a hard deadline on you. No pun intended.
It's like, it's me. And I'm like very in tune that the way to make a good video is time.
Yeah. My guy, Westside Legend, says, did you ride for Redline before Premium? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Oh yeah.
Reed Stark. Oh, sorry, go.
I said I was on the rebranding of Redline with Mike Escamilla. I remember I have one good story I'll share quick. I don't want to drag it out too long, but Mike Escamilla called my house when my homie Corey, like my younger homie, was there. And my mom was like, Mike Escamilla's on the phone, Garrett? And I was like, it wasn't uncommon because like me and my friend Justin Owens and like my homie Adam and like all of our friends groups used to just call our parents and be like, yeah, Jason Enns is on the phone, and like, you know what I mean? Like, just fuck with each other. Like, yeah, Van Homan's on the line. And I like answered and I was like, what up? Who is, like, like thinking it's one of the homies. It's actually him. I remember like just like being like, what up, motherfucker? And then like shrinking immediately and being like, hi, Mike Escamilla. How are you?
Hello, sir. Yeah. What's up, motherfucker? I mean, sorry, sir. Rooftop. Yeah. Reed Stark, you scared stiff, says, what's the hardest clip you ever worked for? I'd like to know that too.
That's a good question. I would really have to look through the footage. I'd say the full cab whip in my X Games part, I had to work pretty hard for that. And it wasn't necessarily like tries, but I did like a lot of full cab whips off this loading dock to get prepared to do it down a little block spot, which is like still a pretty small block spot. But with that trick, it gets so much harder to control with speed because everything's whipping.
Yeah.
Just like I already had a really hurt foot, and it was for one of those X Games parts, and those are obviously very strict set deadlines. So I remember just being out of the crunch and like going out to practicing it with a bruised heel and being like, fuck, even if I land it right, it kind of, is aggravating.
This is gonna suck.
And I was being like, oh man, it's only twice as big and I only have to go a bit faster, but it's so much harder to try. I was like, this fucking sketchy.
It's funny how that works, and then you pull it perfect and the rest is history. So you did that shit with a bruised heel, huh?
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out too, because they tore that spot right out. That like literally, I think like 2 months later got torn out.
Damn, didn't know that.
If I wasn't filming for that and I didn't have the pressure, I would have missed the opportunity on that spot, which I think would have been like the easiest 4 block you can do it on.
Yeah, That's a good one. And then I think that was that same year Lewis had a full cab whip in his part too. Did you guys?
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
plan
We're
that?
like,
You guys call
no,
each
no,
other?
no,
I'm just
nah.
kidding. Of course you didn't plan it.
I was like, I'll do a bigger one.
How many stairs, Lou?
Yeah.
How many stairs?
I'll do 12.
Oh shit. Let's go. Ed Hewitt says, when are you gonna move back to the East Coast?
Ooh, I have considered it before, dude, but I don't know. If anything, I would probably just rent my house out and then rent somewhere on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I thought about doing it this summer, but it's just always hectic with the amount of stuff and like people coming into my house to stay and filming and stuff. And then if I go out to the East Coast for the summer, Tony's gonna be here, so
that's true, huh?
I would be there, like just kicking it, which would be so fun. Like I went out last October and I was like, damn, like I just missed the East Coast sometimes.
Yeah, it's a different everything. Driving around is different. The weather's different. People are different.
But I'm like one of those people. I could like live anywhere. It's like every city I go to, I'm like, oh, I like this place. I could live here.
Yeah. What's the worst city you've ever been to?
Worst city? Fuck, I don't know. I'm trying to think. What was the name of this place? We went to this place to like check this roof spot out in the middle of Pennsylvania. And actually, I wouldn't say it was the worst city. It was maybe the funniest place I've ever been. Like you can see, it was like a really ran down town where like opiate addiction is just taking over.
Yeah.
And like out of all places, I went to a church that had this really sick roof spot. And like the roof spot was maybe like a little bit under bar height to get on as a manual pad up. And then the other side was higher, but landed in a driveway landing. So it was just like a super intricate, cool roof spot. And we went out there to check it out. And like in the parking lot, there's 3 little kids riding BMX. Huh. And I like went up, I gave them stickers and we're like hanging out with them and actually didn't even get to ride the spot. The cops came over and started hassling us and then we're yelling at the kids and they were like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you guys shouldn't be in this parking lot riding. And I was like, as a grown up, I tried to be like, oh, it's like my fault. Like, I own a bike company. I seen little kids and I thought it'd be cool to give them stickers, blah, blah, blah. And like the cops were just so rude. And then like next to this spot was like a house and there was like some like drunk lady up in the house. She was like, leave him alone, fuck the boy. And it was like a really small town. And like, damn it, you just got out, like shut up, blah blah blah. They're just like, yo, this town is fucking crazy. I just couldn't believe like these little kids were doing something so positive and then like the cops literally just gave them the hardest time. Like,
you can't be here.
So like, I don't know.
Did you get to ride? No, you didn't get to ride the spot.
No, they were like pressing us super hard and just like small town stuff. It was like, this place is just weird. Like,
yeah,
it seems like
so wild to think people actually live like that in small. Yeah. I mean, like that as if it's a bad thing, but small town, middle America, you know, like it's a totally different world.
Yeah, it's that's a good way to build your confidence.
Yeah, for real. Oh shit. Let's see. Dan Mulhair, what do you have for breakfast? We kind of talked about that.
So I'm pretty notorious on like acai bowls, a really big smoothie, or I'll make a breakfast with like 3 eggs, sunny side up, a couple pieces of turkey bacon, and like avocado.
Bomb.
Those are pretty much like my go-tos.
Yeah. My breakfast this morning was 4 eggs over medium though, and then some avocado and some cheese. Yeah. You know. Yeah.
And then if I'm gonna scumbag it out, definitely like donuts and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like to let loose every once in a while.
I can't come back from like crazy like sugar like that.
Yeah. Banger Boys says Bob Randall. I believe that's Bob Randall.
Yeah, it's Bob Randall.
Yeah. What is the most amount of time spent on filming a trick? Have you ever done one where it's like multiple? I'm sure you have multiple.
Yeah, of course.
Trips, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Maybe like there's that one clip in my X Games where I do like 180 bar, backlash, cab bar, Manny 180 down whip.
Yeah.
That one, I don't know if it was the longest, but I had the like most amount of times I had to go to that spot. Like the first day I tried it, I got on and my coaster engaged, and that trick just depends on where you catch your feet. Sometimes you engage your coaster. And I got kicked out. And then I went back another day after trying another trick, and I had pretty low energy and I couldn't do it.
And then I went back, I think, a third time and got kicked out right away. And then like the fourth day I went there, I went before filming another clip, and it happened. So like, it was like 10 tries.
Nice.
But it was like it's usually like 2 times is like if I can't get in like 2 times of coming back, I'm like I'm gonna let it chill for a while because
Right.
I already have all this negative energy around this, and it's like I don't want to be like bummed out trying something. Like I want to try something fresh and come back to it.
Yeah, smart. Well, worth it. That clip stands the fuck out. That's a damn good one.
Yeah, thank you.
The real Yabob from Florida. Where do you think BMX will be and be like in the next 10 to 15 years?
Hopefully in the next 10 to 15 years, it would be sick to see like BMX in a good place. It'd be sick to see like us as an industry getting more people into it. It'd be cool to see the industry in a better place to like help support more filmers and riders to keep creating, and it would be sick to see us doing like more of our own events. Like I really think like what Trey does is awesome.
Yeah.
And like viewing it from California, I'm like, we need to do something like that in like Palm Springs or something,
For real.
Like it'd be so
Yeah.
hard to do it in like the main cities, but like off the beaten path, I feel like I don't know, that kind of stuff grew BMX when I was a kid. So
Yeah, Coachella for bikes.
yeah, people like to feel a part of something.
Yeah, big time.
But
Well,
that's more hopes than where I see it from a riding perspective. I bet it'll be absolutely crazy.
yeah, for real. Because
Yeah.
progression only gets crazier. Like as soon as the instant clips come out and everybody's level, I'm sure you've seen it just in your like time. The amount,
Sure.
the
Yeah,
talent that's out
absolutely.
there is insane. Like
Dude.
Johnny was just the young kid that could do all the shit. Now he's like the dude that the young kids are looking at, and so it's only gonna
Yeah.
add on it. And
And he's
kinda
just
crazy.
casually doing bar to hangers.
Yeah, dude, in the mid run, like what the fuck?
No one can do that.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody else do it. Yeah,
No, it's one of one.
it's so nuts, dude. Go Johnny, go. Let's see. We talked about that. Your hardest trick. Just Alex Beza. Shout out. Top three. Alex Uloa says top three California skate parks.
All right, so number 1, City Heights. Number 2, Linda Vista. Number 3, Sheldon.
Done.
It's like all really good parks.
What about your backyard, dude? Just kidding. Clute Show.
Backyard is fun.
Your backyard is an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the deal? Clute. Is it Clute or Clut Show? Clute.
It's Clute.
Yeah. Clute. What's the deal with the flow team Clute? All caps.
So I went out to what's the name of the gym? Why can't I think of it right now? The Jam in Lyon. And I met those dudes, and I think they know maybe I like comedy, and they're kind of like fucking around joking. And I just started joking with them. And the next thing you know, I was friends, and they're like, "We want to put you on, but only as Flow." And I was like, I'm trying to earn my spot, man. I'm not
Yes, sir.
anything. Like, I'm here to do it. I want to walk my way up the ranks. And like they love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes.
Like they always send me like stupid memes of him, and like I think like because I love Tom Segura, he always roasts Steven Seagal.
Yep.
And I always just send him like shit of Steven Seagal like fighting someone, but he's like sitting down.
I remember when that shit happened.
It's just silly.
2 years ago or whatever, the Clute stuff.
Yeah.
I still remember like you being on Flow for them. It's hilarious. All right.
Yeah. Maybe in the next 10 years I'll get pushed up to amateur.
Someday you'll become something. Maybe, just keep trying. That's all you can do is just stay passionate. And
I mean, it is good advice. Keep trying.
just keep trying, man. Jake Bob 69, I love him. What's in your daily backpack?
Usually like water, wax, tools, Theragun, lacrosse ball.
You stay strapped with the Theragun?
Oh, for sure.
Hell yeah.
I'm always strapped. I made a joke. I was like, one day I'm gonna get shot because I'm just always like having dodging myself. But yeah, water, usually some kind of like water. Sometimes I run it with the water with the like liquid IV and some lemon water and stuff.
Nice.
Sometimes coffee, sometimes a Red Bull, just depending on the day, energy levels. Yeah, tools, brick rub maybe. I have it depends too what we're riding because I have a lot of stuff to like modify spots in my car too.
Nice. That's something I got a lot of respect for is putting the effort into like modify spots.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite trick? Just Alex Beza. Damn, he really
Maybe
submitted all the questions.
maybe the stovepipe, the one-handed X down, dude. That thing had never had flavor.
That is a weird trick, dude.
It's just like it's like
Where do you put
hard,
your
but
hand
it's just
even?
like you're like yeah, like I don't know, limp. Yeah, it just looks funny.
Let's see. I just
That
Alex
being
Beza
said,
asked 5. Oh, that being said, what?
Casey Badger might have been able to make it look good.
Mm-hmm. Casey Badger
Just
made everything
he
look
made
good,
X
dude.
ups look cool, so he could have probably figured it out. I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's because he did all the
Yeah,
way full bar
like,
spins X ups without taking your hands off.
he must have long arms or something.
Yeah, he's an artist. This one I want to know. Favorite video part of the new era of dudes. Did you watch
Ooh.
Freak?
Yeah, I watched Freak.
Sheesh.
That was good.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about Freak for a little bit. I really liked Jordan Godwin's part, and like obviously all those dudes' parts are really good.
Yeah.
Bias, I'm gonna have to say Lou, of course, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, those are 4 guns right there. Like
For real.
Felix has that thing that like if you watch him ride in real life, Chad Curley and Bruno Hoffman have it. Like I feel like I never see them miss a trick. And then Alex Donaghy is like on the innovative side of like tricks. Like, yeah, I feel like he's always just figuring out little MBDs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Lou's just Steve's.
He is,
Like,
dude.
he just looks good on that bike. Like he's just
Yeah.
meant to. He's like our little he's like our street Aiken or something. Like it's
For
like
real.
oh, look how loose and limber that guy looks. He's all long.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Godwin, I feel like is taking rail riding just to a completely different level. Like I have nothing but respect for him because it's like, dude, rail riding is psycho. Like
It is.
nollie over smithing a rail, like the way you have to try that, like if you were to slip into like switch crew, if you're like switch rail ride or something, dude, you were in such a bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't even comprehend like how good he is at that stuff. But
I'm trying to remember, he did like nollie over opposite crank arm or regular
yeah,
crank arm. I don't know
he
what
did
it was, but
nollie over crank arm, I believe. That one's gnarly.
yeah,
They're all gnarly, but dude, nollie over Smith just seems so terrifying to try. Like,
yeah, I believe
because that trick you have to specifically come close to the rail, which means you'd have to be putting yourself in a situation of touching on the way up, which would be like if you watch the spot he did it on, the rail is so tall,
yeah,
and he had to gap out to it off a bench. It just looks like, ooh, the control and audacity of you, my guy. That is seriously like just one of those things. You're just impressed. Like I can't believe he did it. But yeah, favorite new age part would probably have to be Lou's part. He dropped and got video part of the year for. That was like, I don't know. I think there's something to be really respected about him and Ben kind of looking at the video part and taking their own take on it, which is like artistic brilliance, in my opinion. Like,
yeah,
I remember like seeing a Cloud post something like, "Oh yeah, like we didn't edit it with this song or whatever," and it's like now the thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's cool that they did something different. They didn't follow a blueprint of what other people did. They did their own thing, and like, you know, when you do your own thing, it really stands alone.
And I've been listening to Channel Trace ever since daily.
Yeah.
Like I love that shit, dude. It's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, shout out Lewis Mills, man.
For sure. That's my guy.
I
You miss
love
him.
him. Miss
I
him,
do
would
too.
love him. All-time favorite music to listen to when riding.
Ooh. So I like a lot of psychedelic rock. I love 90s hip hop. So I like kind of like music that gets your blood going. I think just because naturally I'm just so chill.
Yeah.
I like, I don't know, Pentagram always gets me going. Like classic Black Sabbath gets me going. Like 90s harder hip hop gets me going. Like just it all depends on the day. Every day I'm kind of like feeling something different.
Different vibes, different moods.
But
What put me
I
onto some
definitely-
psychedelic rock though?
Yeah,
What should
I
I
definitely
listen
like
to?
I like the rev up.
What's the rev up?
Like just music
Oh,
that
to
makes
get
you like
juiced.
go.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
like something that's like, I don't know. I think that's why I'm like lately been feeling like a lot of like older 90s hip hop just because like it's just like kind of like it's almost like crime music.
Yeah.
Like psyching yourself up to go do something crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just
Who's when you say 90s hip hop, who are you talking about?
Could be anyone from like, I don't know. Really love Project Pat.
Yeah,
Really
that's a
love
good one.
like Easy E. I don't know. It just depends daily,
Yeah. But,
changes a
all
lot.
right. And then psychedelic rock. Hit me with something that I should listen to later on today.
I mean, doesn't get better than Ultimate Spinach, but I would have to like look through my phone. I have like just a bunch of random bands. I've been really into the band Witch.
Which?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're super sick. They're like, I forget what they're not exactly psychedelic rock, but they're like Zam rock.
Zen rock, is that what you said?
Yeah,
I like Zen rock.
they're,
I like the
they're
sound of
super
that.
sick. Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've listened to Ultimate Spinach, so except for the Fiend video over and over again. But
Yeah, you can't go wrong with like mind flowers on like a chilling day for like cleaning or stretching or something,
yeah.
It's definitely not a rev up, but it's a good one.
It's a rev down, but it's
Yeah.
a vibe. Yeah, how does it Maura Verone says, how does it feel to be able to do everything? Is there a trick that you can't do? I think I said that earlier. What trick?
Can't backflip.
Can't backflip?
No, I mean I've done them before, but like I'm like if I went to the skate park right now, like there's not a resi there, I'm probably not gonna do a backflip. Anything could happen. I might land manual and just get knocked the fuck out or something. Like
I've never done a backflip, not even on a bike in my entire life, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out on something.
That one was more by choice. I always thought that was like a kind of like a boner contest move.
Okay, let's see. What was the hardest trick to learn and what made it difficult? Mr. Fab.
Tail whips.
Tail whips?
Every kid that learned a tail whip knows that one's hard. I learned tail whips, I think, when I was like 13.
Yeah.
But I didn't have like full on man strength yet. And I could remember trying to learn them off a box lip and I couldn't do it. And the way I learned was on a quarter pipe. Because
like
if I
airing the quarter?
Yeah, because if I kicked on a quarter pipe, the rotation would help the bike get around so I can get back onto it.
Yeah. I was just talking to Fu at Epic, and he was reminiscing about teaching Max how to tail whip, and it was the same thing. Just like you got to use the momentum of the air on the quarter pipe. And I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean with BMX, a lot of the tricks are kind of using the directions you're getting spit.
Yeah. Let's see. We talked about diet. Zach Beerley asks, how long have you maintained fitness? How have you maintained fitness longevity all this time? I mean, I can't believe you're still doing what you're doing at 47. Garrett, can you please give us your secrets?
So, I mean, dude, stretching, you can never go wrong. Stretching, hydrating, quality sleep is huge for healing, diet, what you put in your body, quality of water, what you put in your body. But like, I don't know, do a lot of stretching, yoga, and strengthen areas when they're hurt. And I don't know.
That's
pretty much just have to be dedicated to like, if you have a problem with something, try and figure it out and just be thorough with what you're working on. Try one thing one day, see how it feels the next. If not, try a different muscle group. Just,
Yeah.
If you're not working on it, it's never gonna get anywhere.
Exactly. If you like put your mind to making your body better, you're gonna figure it out. You'll like look shit up and learn about all the stuff that you need to learn.
That too, and you got to be positive about it. You can't have that mentality that you're like, if you're hurt and you can't figure it out, you can't be like, I'm not gonna heal.
Right.
Like,
your body wants to heal.
I'm gonna heal, but I just need to figure out what's wrong first.
Yeah, big time. It's easy, I would bet, to just get defeated and be like, oh fuck, my body's broken. It's never gonna get fixed. But that's your body's gonna want to fix itself.
A lot of my older friends are there.
Yeah. Okay, Ronald, this is not a question, but please tell Garrett to upload some raw behind the scenes video. That's a Tony thing.
That's a Tony thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I say we should use all our footage always, but
Tony's
more critical than I am.
Go talk to Tone. Okay, we just talked about landing your first tail whip. Let's see, Ronald, top 5. What's this? A lot of these are top 5 music bands. We talked about that. Tell me about that. Ronald also says, tell us about your backyard park. And that's something that I wanted to come back to anyway. So is this a recent thing?
Yeah, so I bought my house in 2014 and I've been trying to get something built back there since then. It's quite a hard project because like most houses in California, the yards aren't really flat and I don't have very much space. I live in like North Park. It's kind of like a closer area to the city.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing I had to do is I had to get the slab poured. The slab needed to be poured with retaining walls laid specific ways to engineer the hill ever dropping out from under it. So it was just a really, really big project, and I would have probably got it done sooner. But looking into how much it was going to cost and stuff, I was getting close. I want to say around 2015, 16. And then we heard rumor of Nike dropping out of BMX. So I was like, oh shit, like rough times might be coming. It might be better to just kind of keep some loose money in case I need to try to keep my career going just because I want it for a few years rather than have a backyard park, even though I want the backyard park. So it got put on hold for quite a bit of time. And then I think in like 2020, I was riding a bunch during COVID, and like eventually COVID was getting taken more seriously and seriously day by day. And like no one would come out. So I was like, fucking, I'm about to just start flattening this yard out. So I broke like a 62-foot, I think like 29-inch retaining wall down with a pickaxe and flattened most of my yard. And then eventually I found my home, a friend of a friend that I became friends with, this kid, Tim, who runs a Hyprise Construction. He helped me finish everything out. And he literally had to drive a mini Bobcat down 2 4-foot retaining walls.
Damn.
It's like it's like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I was like,
it's going downhill mountain biking on a Bobcat.
Yeah, but I mean, he handled it and shit. And he was like, dude, I got you. Like, if you're cool with me, like, I forget what it was. He's like, I might mess my AC unit up because I have an AC unit that's put into the ground on the backside where you had to enter my backyard. And he's like, I might crack the wall up and it might need repairs. I'm like, dude, it's like, if it means we're getting in the park, it's all good. Like, I'm totally down for it. Like, let's run it. So we got the slab poured, and then I kind of struggled for a while with design. I used a program called SketchUp, which allows you to design things by the square foot. So you can understand like the size of obstacles you can fit, and you can calculate square foot to like run in and run out. Which really helps for like a project like mine, where like 2 to 4 feet really, it's like a big difference. So yeah, I did that, and then kind of came up with a loose design. And then like the next phase was I was trying to get Corey Rogalski to do it because he rides with me, obviously, and he's just like, when you get into the world of woodworking, I would say that he's the best.
He's the shit.
I mean, like if you see his detail and shit, especially more as I've got into it, I'm like, damn, he's a fucking badass. But logistically, we were having trouble like finding the time for him to do it, and he wanted to bring his tools across country, which was just going to be like really expensive and hard. And I was like, I think I might just try to build some shit myself. And he's like, all right, like, dude, don't even stress it. Like, I don't, like it would just be hard for me to get all the tools out there. So as of last year, right before Battle of Hastings, I just started building ramps. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to like do it myself, considering the space is really small. It'd be good for me to know how to build and like change it up.
Fuck yeah.
So I just kind of started building, and I built some like the first ramps I built were just testers, and I just pulled them apart and repurposed everything. And like, I think like as of October, I really started building.
It's so bomb, dude.
Yeah, it's still not finished. Still in the works.
Of course. It'll always be in the works.
I always have to do extra shit, but yeah, it's sick as fuck. And then it's been like a little dream. It's cool, it's there, but now it's there, and I'm like super bored of it already.
It looks fun as hell from the footage that I've seen, dude.
No, it is.
Yo, Mac Attack says, why can't he wake up for the early sessions? Ha ha ha.
Why can't I do these days? But I think when he lived here, he was like, I was never on the morning sessions, but that was like my younger days when I was still going out and partying and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I used to sleep until noon, 1.
Yeah.
I can't picture doing that now, but
yeah, that's insane. That's really insane. But like, I don't know, that time too, like, I don't know. There weren't as many skate parks in San Diego, like when he lived here. So like, I don't know, like there was no real reason to like wake up. Like you can't really ride most street spots any day of the week. So it's like, I like wait till like 5 o'clock when businesses are kind of letting out and there's more spot options and stuff.
Yeah. And it's interesting to think about the weekday spot versus the weekend spot, the schools. There's so much that goes into spots and street riding. Like you got to think about the time, the weather, the location, the business.
Yeah, I mean, especially in California where like everything stays in business, and even if it goes under, someone just like immediately rents the property out or buys it. Like,
Yeah. There's no
there's
downtime. There's no
there's no
abandoned
vacant.
buildings. Yeah.
There's like very few vacant land areas
Yeah.
that have anything to ride.
Shit. Dude, I think we've been going for 3 hours and 20 minutes. I could be wrong, but I think we have.
I have no concept of time.
All there is here and now, and I'm just breathing, brother.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we got to do Mount Rushmore. Your personal favorite Mount Rushmore of BMX bikers.
So I'd have to go Taj, Aiken, Joe Rich, and Ruben. I feel like most people that kind of grow up in my area would probably like agree with that, you know? Like those are like the dudes that made riding look the best and changed basically like not the tricks we do, but the way we use the bike and what looks good and what doesn't. And then I feel like if you're going street rider, you'd have to go with like Van, Corey, Edwin, Brian Castillo.
Fire.
Maybe Jason Enns too, you know?
Yeah, we can add heads.
Those are like, you know, 1A, 1B. No one's, doesn't matter. They're all like, I think people that influence street riding so much, even Stephen Hamilton.
Dude, yeah, Stephen.
And then I think if you were going for like the people that change.
Do you have these written down right now? Are you looking at notes? Nice.
Well, just because, you know, I appreciate these guys and I want to pay them respects. And then I feel like you have the, I guess like the people to be like the innovators that changed riding probably the most is probably like Matt Hoffman, Dave Mir, Jay Miron, Ryan Nyquist.
Yeah.
I don't know. That era is kind of before me, but I know Matt Hoffman is like, I forget, someone was telling me once, like he like made most of BMX tricks.
Yeah. And he drove around and did freestyle shows and like created BMX freestyle.
He's Mr. BMX for sure.
100%. Yeah. And also one of those things where it's before my time too. You have to research and learn, and it's, I mean, you know, the name, it's like synonymous with BMX, but to really appreciate all the shit he did, you got to go back and look it up.
Yeah. And them pioneers.
Yeah. What else did you write down?
That's pretty much it.
Just the amount you came prepared.
Yeah. Well, no, I was thinking about it right before I called you. I was like, oh shit. Like, cause I think when we were going to do it, I was like, yeah, let me like try to square that away. Cause I don't know, that's a hard one to be put on the spot for. Like I could be like literally sit there and be like for like 20 minutes, be like, but no, actually, when you went to take a piss, I kind of started writing a little timeline down, and I was like, "Yeah, this is too difficult."
Yeah, dude, just too much shit. I mean,
and there's too many stories behind everything, and like
for real.
There's
so much shit to endlessly talk about. This is you know, maybe we can do it again sometime. And
yeah, sure.
Fucking now that we got the autobiography out of the way, we can just talk about what the hell's going on in BMX. Or no pun intended, but
hopefully good things.
Shit, that's it, man. Will you show me your backyard?
Yeah, sure.
Before we wrap?
Yeah. Let's see. I know exactly how well you'll be able to see it. But I have a patio, so that's a pretty sick view.
Damn. Yeah, that's dope. Cool. How do you get down there? You walk, Bob.
Come to the side.
Oh, okay, got it. Hell yeah.
Not sure exactly what you can see. But yeah, there's two entranceways on like both sides of my shit. So that's like kind of like the big obstacle I had to like really try to battle, like figuring out how to get a mini Bobcat and like all the concrete workers and stuff, all the rebar and stuff back there.
That's
all
a
the
project.
Footings. Yeah, it's weird because when you look into it, like it's like almost engineer style. Like you need a really big ass company, and then that's almost too small for him to do.
Yeah.
Due to the size, and then like if you go to like a littler like concrete company or whatever, they're like, this is like a little big for us.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's kind of like an awkward level.
Yeah. What do you got for the rest of the day? What are you doing?
I think I might go ride.
Fuck yeah. Where?
You know, I might pop up. Kimball Park is always really good later in the day. California, you know, like parks get a little bit crowded and shit.
Yeah.
Kimball has like no scene whatsoever.
Cool. Well, they will now.
I want to say it has a really good up rail, down rail situation. Like it's the perfect shape rail and has a really fun A-frame rail.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
So I'll play around on that thing for like hours.
Fucking A, Garrett. Thanks for doing this. It's nice to talk to you.
My pleasure. And, you know, thank you for having me. And thank you for doing all the Fiend Boys. Like I really enjoyed Johnny and Matt's interviews and shit. And
yeah, they're the best.
They're doing a really good job.
Yeah, I love them. You picked the best ones. You picked the best guys, Garrett.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I've had a little experience over the years.
Yeah, just a little bit. So next up from Fiend, Colin, you know?
Yeah.
Hope gotta talk to him about that fakey hop.
Fakey hop, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, you'd have a really good story, and Colin's really good at talking, and like he'd probably have his timeline super organized.
Yeah, I'll tell him to write out an essay and just read it on the. All right, the floor is yours, Colin. And then once upon a time,
I was born in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Yeah. Shit, man. That's it. Anything else? Any advice for young, hungry kids?
If you trying to make anything out of your BMX riding, just do it because you love it. Like the era of riding you're in right now is literally, you have to do so much to stay relevant. So like, you know, the kids to get involved really have to love it. Like, and there's no reason to get involved with anything if you don't enjoy it. Life's supposed to be about being happy.
Solid. Dude, there's one thing actually before we go. I want to know, who don't I follow that I should be following? If anybody.
Good question. You follow Martin Simon?
I don't know. Let's see. How do you spell it? Martin. Oh, Siman.
What'd you say?
Followed by what's Lucas up? Fiend? Yeah, I do follow Marcus Simon.
All right, that's a good one. I was like kind of psyched. I was like, oh, I actually thought of something.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
Is he from? Where's he from?
I want to say he's from Czech Republic, I believe.
Nice. Yeah, he's nice with it.
He's a young gun. He's gonna be a threat in our future. You'll see.
Hell yeah.
He's been sending us footage, and I'm like, can't believe the shit he's doing.
Dude, do you guys have a Deadline Joy Division shirt?
Yeah, I did one.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, I was always a huge Joy Division fan.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know, obviously with Deadline stuff, you can just make little clipping masks. And I was like, oh, that's something I would like to wear, you know, like two things I like collabed into one.
Yes, sir. Oh,
some people I think
there's something that I wanted to ask you is, do you need a washed up free coaster rider to ride for Fiend?
Yeah. Send me the tape.
I'll send you a tape, dude. I got a mini DV with all my stunts, you know?
Yeah. And realize the first 30 seconds are going to make or break your career. So,
well, the first 30 seconds is me talking to the camera. Hi, my name is Bobby Kanode. I'm 33 years old from Phoenix, Arizona.
Like, holy shit, he made his props bio.
That's it. And I filmed and edited it too. All right, dude. That's it. Let's get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. All that. Adios. I think that might be one of the longest episodes. So, yeah, this is the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the show with a friend, leave a review. RawLife.com, promo code Kanode, get superfoods, and have a good day. That's all. Oh, leave a comment if you want a round 2 with Garrett. Okay, goodbye.